and he does.
He's flying.
And now he'll celebrate. And it's going to be Sandra Velzebor.
She is going to try to make it 3 for 3 on the World Tour. The exclamation mark in for the Canadian Ice Maples. And it will be the Ice Maples starting off with a gold medal.
The final session of the Short Track World Tour coming to you from Mokdong in Seoul, the Mokdong Ice Rink, which has played host to us over the last 2.5 days and are now set for an electrifying final session. We have got 5 medals to be decided this afternoon. The mixed relay, the 2,000 metres, the women's 1,500, the men's 1,000, the women's 500, and we will round out with the men's 5,000 metre relay. The Mokdong Arena is starting to pack in, as well as all the fans here of the Korean White Tigers will be in full voice as they were yesterday afternoon. I'm Ricky Swanell. Alongside me is two-time Olympic medalist Catherine Reuter-Adamek, and this feels like we are going up again and again. Some huge matches, some huge races, to come over this final session.
It is an exciting last day here in the Mokdong Ice Arena. Skaters are finishing a 2-week trip overseas. We already raced in Beijing World Tour 3 last weekend, and we're on the final day of racing here in Seoul.
We have still got some semi-finals and some quarterfinals to come in, a couple of events before we get through to those A-finals, as we see the event officials who have put in such a big effort to get this event going, and our referees on the ice. Special assistant, shout out to Polona, the first assistant referee, who's just delivered some chocky goods, some Christmas goods up to commentary as well before she gets back out to do her work. All the referees, the video officials running their eyes over things. We're going to start with the mixed team relays as well. This is an event that has been shared. The spoils have been shared across the season so far. The Netherlands, Canada and China have all won this event. We might have a different champion on the podium as well, and that lot there, I'm sure, will be hoping the Chinese and the mix and the Korean White Tigers as well.
We're seeing a bunch of fans in the stadium today. We're still filling up here. South Koreans are huge supporters of the sport of short track. Their energy has been palpable at the rink this weekend.
It's a great effort on the headwear too, really embracing everything there is on the short track. You can follow all the action as well across the social media channels. There's lots of insight into the skaters, their personal lives, and all about the new team identities as well, all on the ISU Skating social media sites, plus recaps of the day's races. Have a little look back on what we saw in yesterday's finals to warm the cockles, warm the appetite before we get into these finals this afternoon. The Queen is back. There's been a couple of queens off the ice, but we saw Kim Ye-lee into winning form in the 1,000 metres yesterday for Korea. Her teammate Min Choi was also on the podium as well. As I say, the Korean White Tigers are so well supported here. We're getting ready firstly for the mixed team relay, the B final. This is the teams that did not quite make it through to the final four, and we will see Poland, Italy and Hungary take to the ice for this one. The USA, we believe, have opted not to race this event, even though they did qualify. And I'm just scanning across to see if I can see Team USA.
So the Team USA, the women only came here with 3 girls. Julie Latai out with a hip injury, Eunice Lee out with an ankle injury. So they're only traveling with their top 3, and their top 2 are in the same skate for the 1,500 semifinal coming up. And the coach said to me this morning, I'm not going to make them do that. I'm going to let them focus on their individual races. This World Tour racing format is significantly harder than any other format these athletes have skated. We're seeing it throughout the 2 weekends that they can't do everything. It's too much.
Well, and both of those USA Eagles, Kristen Santos Griswold and Corinne Stoddard, are in the top 5 in the overall Crystal Globe standing. So they just making the sacrifice, unfortunately, for the mixed team event. A couple of the guys have had some falls as well. They've had a big program. So the USA will sit out this B final. Instead, we have got Poland, the Hussars, Italy, the Gladiators, and Hungary, the Falcons, who will get on the line. First of all, and for the Italians, is Kiara Betty, who did a really good job to win through to the 500-metre quarterfinals. That's coming up as well.
Nowinski there, coming off of a fall earlier today, ready to contribute to his team's success.
Mazur on the line for Poland. Szmogi for Hungary. As we get ready to go in this B final of the mixed team relay, 2,000 metres. It is short and sharp, this relay. Everything needs to be precise. The exchanges, the communication, verbal and non-verbal, largely between the teammates as the skaters make the first exchange.
And we're already seeing some shuffling in the pack between the second and third place skaters. Now the skaters on the inside have to react when the active skaters on the ice make a pass, nailing that timing on the first exchange.
Exchanges coming over for Hungary at the moment in the lead, with Italy and the Polish Hussars looking to try and come around the outside. It's Hungary in control as we gear up for the first exchange between man and woman, the male and female counterparts. So see the men just tracking along the inside there as Hungary makes the exchange over for Hiazapati to take over at the head of the field. There's still Hungary at the moment from Italy, who have Thomas Natalini out there. Pietro Segal will wait to join the race for the Italian Gladiators, and he is into the action now. It is still Hungary, though, leading with Moon Won-jun. And then at the back for the Polish Hussars is Michał Nowinski.
So we're coming up on the first exchange from male to female skater. Segal making a move up the inside. His teammate Betty has to react, and she does. Will she nail the timing onto the track?
Segal transfers over to Betty. He gives her a good shove to hold on to that timing. Great move and transition from the Italian Gladiators. The Polish Hussars have moved up to second, and now it's the Hungarians chasing in the B final.
Mazur taking 2 crossovers into that turn, trying to close the gap between her and the Italian Gladiators.
This is Ariana Segal now, sister of, into the fray for Italy. Look at the chase coming down from the Polish Hussar. That is Kamila Stomorowska trying to go around the outside of Betty. Oh, they got close, but Betty's still holding on at the front.
Tremendous defensive skating by Betty. Mazur building speed every time she's been out so far, and now passing to her teammate Cellier. He's going to set up the pass, diving up the inside, and he makes it clean.
Gets in on the inside of Natalini, does the Polish Hussar. Cellier, he will make the transition to Nowinski, who tracks him along the inside of the race. Can they maintain this lead? Or will the Italians get back in front? They have the Italian Gladiators. Oh, Segal almost lost control, and Nowinski took the opportunity to get in front on this bell lap. Somehow Segal's got himself back up into second, but it will be the Polish Hussars if Nowinski can hold on over this last bend. He does. And a late win for Poland to take the B final.
Tremendous skating by all of these athletes. Not only are they going at their top speed out here, but they're having to control their track patterns around the ice. So we see here Betty good timing into a push of her teammate. Sorry, Segal pushing her. Segal receiving the push from her teammate, and here number 40. Gosh, the screen switching so fast. It's almost as fast as the race, everybody. So we're watching here a pass from Mazur. She's trying to build her speed on the outside, but Betty shuts her down every time. A beautiful move up the inside by Dion Cellier. No contact. 2 crossovers by Nowinski, and that will keep him in the front around the final turn.
A strong mixed team relay then for Poland to round out the B final. The United States not starting this one, so it was Poland from Italy and Hungary. Really good racing in the mixed team relay final, setting us up for what should be an outstanding final between 4 really strong teams. The mixed team relay A final had 3 different winners so far across the season. The Netherlands won Montreal 1, Canada Montreal 2, and China in Beijing. And all 3 of those teams are in this final, where they are joined by the home side, the Korean White Tigers, which features our 2 number 1 ranked skaters, Kim Gilly and Park Ji-won.
This is a relatively new event here, the mixed relay. Skaters having to be on a fixed schedule of 2.5 lap exchanges, and even if there's a fall, only man can tag man, female can tag female, unless it's on the last lap.
There is the crystal globe that all of these teams are chasing, both as individuals and as a team, the Dutch Lions, which feature the Velsenboer sisters, Sandra and Michelle, Jens van Twelt and Teun Boer. Waving of the Dutch flag, resplendent oranje colours. The crowd will tell you who's coming out next. It's the Korea White Tigers. Kim Gil-lee, Choi Min-jong, Park Ji-won and Kim Tae-sung. What a lineup they bring into this final. The Canadian Ice Maples, who set a world record in this event last week. And it is these 4 skaters who did just that. Danae Blais, Florence Brunel, William Dongenou and Stephen Dubois.
Ricky, they weren't even trying. They just wanted to go out and go fast, have a good race, and it was a world record pace.
And now the team who won it last week on home ice, can they do it on rival ice? It is Gong Li, Fan Qixin, Liu Xiaoang and Sun Long for the Chinese Longs. Look at that spectacular crystal globe. Team and individuals. Of course, as you say, triple points for relays in that race.
Triple points going to the team over. Triple points going to the relay winners for the team overall standings in the Crystal Globe race. We have 6 stops on the World Tour circuit. You're seeing number 4. 5 and 6 will be in Europe next year, 2025.
Teams will do this first little lap around the ice and then hit the start line. Michelle Velsenboer is there ready to go for the Dutch Lions. Choi Min-jong for Korea White Tigers will join her. Checking in alongside on helmet number 18, Fan Qixin, and then Kim Bouton into the side. Change in the Canadian relay team. And away they go in the mixed 3,000 and 2,000 metre relay. And it is the Canadian Ice Maples who will lead out early with the experience of Kim Bouton starting us out in this race, being tracked by Michelle Velsenboer. The Korean White Tigers sitting in third with Choi, and then the Chinese Luongs as they start to prepare, get ready for the first exchange, the first transition of skater to skater, the first transfer of speed and power.
The Ice Maples need to try to lead this race from start to finish. Now, they are targets right now, but if they get lucky, the Dutch Lions will take a defensive tactic, and it's not going to go that way as we see Kim Gil-lee moving up the inside and the Chinese Long making a move into third.
First roar of the crowd, and that means Kim Gil-lee, the number 1 on the helmet, moves their team into second. Here's the transfer. It is now Dongenou on the ice for the Canadian Ice Maples. That long, languid, stretching stroke as he's tracked by the Korean White Tiger behind him. That is Kim Tae-sung at the moment.
Dongenou's long legs make him hard to pass, but he's also an extremely aware skater. You'll see him looking around. He's very tactical.
Sun Long transfers over to Liu Xiaoang for China. He is third at the moment. It's Park Ji-won chasing Stephen Dubois on the ice now, and Van Twelt out there for the Netherlands.
The Ice Maples are still leading, but the White Tigers setting up a pass.
There's the move for Park Ji-won, and now he can transfer over Choi Min-jong. Can she maintain that advantage? Yes, she can. The crowd roar. The home team as Choi Min-jong tries to open up a lead on Kim Bouton of the Ice Maples.
This is where Min-jong really shines. If you give her enough ice, she'll run away with it.
She's going to transfer over to the reigning Crystal Globe champion, Kim Gil-lee, and she's got the advantage now on Brunel. Sandra Velsenboer out there for the Netherlands, trying to close that gap. China can't find a way in with Gong Li at the moment. It is all the Korean White Tigers. Oh, Velsenboer makes the move, pushes the Canadians wide, and the transfer is still Korea, leading at the moment. 4 laps to go in this mixed relay.
They will review that pass, but in an A final, it doesn't matter if there's a penalty. The Ice Maples need to fight their way back to the front.
Kim hands over to Park Ji-won, a big shift. The Chinese are trying to make a move through Liu. The Dutch and the Canadians chasing at the moment. Park Ji-won steaming around this Mokdong ice track. China chasing, can they make the move? It is Korea and China, and the Koreans take it on home ice, do they? A photo finish, Park Ji-won celebrates, but we don't have confirmation yet.
What a thrill for the White Tigers. He feels pretty confident that he got it. We will await that final ice review.
Liu on the line. Park Ji-won. The Koreans are certain. The White Tigers. Or are they looking to the ice, looking to the big screen? Park Ji-won, Kim Gilly, Choi Min-jong.
Whether it worked or not, it was a valiant effort. A lot for these skaters to be proud of. The White Tigers performing on their home ice, giving everyone something to cheer for.
What a mixed relay it was. Lead changes, surges, changes. Everyone looks to the screen. The video review is clear.
A blistering fast start by Kim Bhutan, rocketing up to the front, passing on to Florence Brunel. Now we see Kim Gilly moving up the inside. Sandra Velzebor staying defensive. Now here we are on the exchange. Don Janu taking 2 crossovers in. Look at his long, lean legs, powering around the track. Park Ji-won coming up the inside. A little bobble there from Stephen Dubois. Skaters coming around the apex turn, carrying speed through the exit, and defensive skating here by Park Ji-won as he stretches for the line. I think he got it.
0.2 of a second, looks like it could be the difference. The crowd, ooh and ah. Park Ji-won celebrates.
He's happy with it. Not any of the teams getting off of the ice yet, however, they want to wait and see the final referee review. Let's go down to the ice.
The crowd will tell you, there it is, the win for the Republic of Korea. The White Tigers on home ice take the mixed relay, our 4th different winner in this event across the season.
After review, we give a penalty to Team the Netherlands.
Team Netherlands.
And that exhale of breath as it's the Dutch Lions who are penalised. And there it is, confirmation, 0.2 of a second. Well, the Republic of Korea over China and Canada.
And here's the official video review of the call. Inside skater, failure to give way. So Sandra Velzebor coming up the inside. Her shoulders and hips are not even with Florence Brunel, which means it was her job to scrub her speed and tuck back into position rather than follow through on the pass.
That was the move that effectively ended the Canadian challenge as well, as the Ice Maples went behind, and that allowed the Chinese and then particularly the Korean White Tigers to take full advantage. Netherlands in Montreal 1, Canada in Montreal 2, China in Beijing, and now here in Seoul, it is the Korean White Tigers. This is a super competitive event between all these classy teams.
War Tour, Seoul 2024-25, presented by KB Financial Group.
지금부터 2024-25 KB금융 ISL 셔틀 월드컵 투어 서울.
We see Felix Roussel joining his teammates for the medal ceremony. That's because he raced in one of the previous qualifying rounds, making him eligible for a medal in the final.
Event will be presented by referee Mr. Alessandro Mauri and assistant referee Ms. Hae-won Park.
Well, it's an illustration of the depth across the squad. We see 7 Chinese longs out there who've all taken part, 6 Korean White Tigers, and 5 Canadian Ice Maples who've all contributed to these mixed relay performances.
IC Short Track War Tour Seoul 2024-25, presented by KB Financial Group. In 3rd place and the winner of the bronze medal from Canada, representing Canadian Ice Maples.
They are the Canadian Ice Maples. Well, they were in it, didn't they? They threw down the gauntlet to the other teams.
Jordan Playplace, Felix Roussel, and Courtney Saru.
3등을
overcoming that bump from the Dutch Lions and still receiving the bronze medal. And that's, again, triple points for the relay events, going towards the team overall standings for the Crystal Globe.
So we're winners in the women's relay. They won the men's 500 with that man there, Stephen Dubois, and they won the men's 1500 through William Donjanu at the edge of that frame. So the Canadians well and truly in the medal mix as per usual. And great Crystal Globe team points. They're going to be hard to catch as a team, the Ice Maples.
Canadian Ice Maples.
Waving their wee broccolis around.
The winner of the silver medal from China, representing Chinese Luz.
Well, they almost did it, the Chinese Longs. A photo finish in the end. A big stretch for the line it was by Liu Xiaoang. Almost did it for the Chinese Longs as they look to go back to back in this mixed team relay. Not quite to be today.
And it really goes to show there is no definite winner from week to week. Even these teams, they step on the ice and they don't know what's going to happen, but they do know it's going to come down to tenths of a second at the finish line.
Well, you think USA, Japan and Poland have all been finalists in this event over the course of the season. They're in B finals this time around instead. Couple of mascots and medals short as the full team goes out.
And again, a testament to the depth of the Chinese team. So there's 4 skaters that skate in the event, but teams are encouraged to swap skaters in and out between the rounds. So quarters, semis, and finals. The Chinese Longs skating 7 different competitors over the course of 3 days.
Once again,
The Chinese Longs, yeah, silver medalists in the mixed relay.
In first place is the winner of the gold medal from Republic of Korea, representing Korea White Tigers.
Well, showing their synchronicity in receiving the applause just as they did in their exchanges and their performance in the mixed team relay. They are a powerhouse unit and they performed in front of their home fans, giving these expectant Korean short track supporters what they had wanted to see.
And you can imagine these athletes have been under pressure all World Tour season, knowing that they have to perform, have to compete at home.
Double-edged, can't it? You've got the comforts of home, you've got the support, but that does come with extra scrutiny, more eyes, more pressure. And these ones living up to it so far. Second gold for Kim Gilly after she won the 1,000 metres. Choi Min-jong has been on the podium, of course, so has Park Ji-won in the men's 1500. The Korean White Tigers. Gold medalists
Once again, we have the Korean White Tigers.
in the mixed 2,000 metre relay here on home ice in Seoul.
Ladies and gentlemen, the medalists.
Mixed events. We're seeing them across so many sports now, and they are adding a new dimension.
They sure are. They're giving teams opportunities to show off their depth, because it's fairly common that a team will have a really strong men's program while the women's program is falling behind, or vice versa. But when you go into the mixed event, it shows which team has depth on both sides, which teams kind of play nice together in the sandbox, if you will, because it really is a challenge to go from your female skater, which is often your smallest skater, to a male skater. That exchange is often to the largest skater on the team. So it's not just speed skating at this point, it's efficiency, it's teamwork.
There are the standings from the mixed team relay then, and the points on offer for them. The Republic of Korea, Netherlands and Canada in the team standings overall. And Korea, the White Tigers, on the podium once more, this time standing atop it.
And you see how the spread between these points isn't very big, just 20 points between first and second, which really means it's anyone's game as we continue on the World Tour stops.
It makes this race for the Crystal Globe ever the more exciting, and this has been a great addition to it. Now, so many of these skaters are going to head off the ice, reset, regroup as we get ready for the rest of the afternoon program. A few of the mascots will be flung into the crowd with hopefully some more decent enough success, perhaps not. We'll leave them to the skating and the throwing perhaps another time. A short ice break coming up over the next 15 minutes or so, and then we'll be back with the women's 1500 metre finals, semi-finals. It's the final day of racing here on stop 4 of the Short Track World Tour in Seoul. I'm Ricky Swanell, joined by two-time Olympic medalist Catherine Reuter-Adamek. And it's not just a big day here in Seoul, it's a big day for skating. It's World Ice Skating Day, so what better time to strap on some skates and give it a go.
So the World Ice Skating Day was launched in December 2022 to celebrate the joy of winter and art of skating. So our intention is to bring more people to skate, more people to experience skating, enjoy it, love it, practice it, and become passionate fan of it. It's been a great success since the launch. So for example, last year we had 130 ice rinks in 53 member countries hosting the event. We're not only talking about the traditional winter sports hosting the World Ice Skating Day. We also had many warmer climate countries such as Indonesia and Mexico to host.
I feel so honored to be an ambassador for World Ice Skating Day. Skating has brought me so much joy, and it's brought me my husband into my life, so I have so much to be grateful for when it comes to figure skating, and it's an honor to be the ambassador.
We're very excited for World Ice Skating Day. I think it's a great initiative to share what we love so much about skating and hopefully grow the sport.
I think everybody should try skating once in their life if they're not familiar with it, just for the pure joy of the speed that you can get from the gliding. And the experience, and also the fact that, you know, it's something unnatural, so there is a little bit of adrenaline that comes with it.
Don't be scared to also the fall. you know, because some people say, no, I will fall, I will not go skating. It's also the part of the enjoyment, actually, because it's like, if you fall, just laugh, stand up, skate again, and one day will be also good, even if you don't train.
Yeah, skating is such a joy, and it does take a few minutes to get good at it. You need to get that balance on the blade and some stability in your ankles, but once you know how to glide, just the freedom that comes with free speed gliding on the ice. And specifically, if anyone has the chance at home to try skating outside, it's truly where the magic happens. Hearing the wind in the trees and seeing the sunshine reflect off of the ice is something you cannot get indoors.
Very difficult to explain the special sensation of gliding on the ice. So, I mean, you have to put on the skate and step on the ice, and you have to feel the joy of gliding on the ice. And so I urge you to participate in the World Ice Skating Day.
Catherine, what is it that you love about putting on a pair of skates and getting out there?
What I love most about skating is sharing it with family and friends. There's nothing like the joy of gliding around on skates, laughing, and sharing a cup of hot chocolate and sitting by the fire just to warm up.
Sounds ideal. Well, the best of the best all started with that exact same love of the sport, that love of putting on a pair of skates. Now they're chasing the crystal globe. Let's check out how the first day of finals went here in Seoul.
The crowd is amazing. I think they love short track speed skating, and we can really feel it on the ice, so it's really exciting.
The race for the Crystal Globe is heating up as we pass the halfway point of the Short Track World Tour season. It is Donjanu with the bell lap now leading out from the front. Number one in Montreal, he was second last week, and William Donjanu does it in fine style. An absolute clinic from the Ice Maple.
This 15 was going to be almost like 1,000, where you want to take the front as fast as possible. I just did a good move at the right time, so yeah, I'm just very fortunate that I got that victory.
Kim Gilly comes in it, she takes the lead. Kim Gilly will win on home ice.
3차 때 금메달을 못 따서 아쉬웠는데 한국 와서 첫 종로 금메달을 딸 수 있게 되어 정말 기쁘고 영광스럽습니다.
Stephen Dubois at the moment, he has been on the podium all 3 times in this event, and this time he's going to take gold.
It feels super good. I think we've been dominating on the 500 so far this year. I think it goes to show that we're doing super well so far. And yeah, I like the 500 way more than the 15.
And the Canadian Ice Maples, 3 in a row in the women's 3,000 metres. The dominant team producing a dominant performance to win this final.
It's very amazing. I feel like we worked really hard this summer, and like just building up to this, like I think crossing the line first is like means so much more because I feel like we worked hard. It's finally paying off.
Semi-finals time in the women's 1500 metres. We have 3 semi-finals coming. The first and second place skaters from each race, and a maximum of 1 fastest third will go through to the A final. But boy, oh boy, have a look at the field for this, the first semi-final. It is Corinne Stoddard of the United States, Zhang of China, Topolska of Poland, Santos Griswold of the US, Ariana Fontana of Italy, Kim Gilly of the Republic of Korea, and Danae Blake. That is some field.
Ricky, we have the entire podium from last week's World Tour here in just the semi-final 1 of today's races.
That was won by Stoddard, with Santos Griswold second and Gilly third. Semi-final number 1 of the women's 1500 metres. As we say, a stacked field. The 2 Americans will go to the front. Corinne Stoddard, the winner last week, with her teammate KSG, Kristen Santos Griswold, just in behind her. Watch 2 for the number 1 helmet ride at the back of Kim Gilly, who's just raced in the mixed relay.
And Kim Gilly coming around the outside now, wanting to get in front of the 2 USA Eagles.
First and second place will advance. We do have a maximum of 1 third place, and of course also too the electric blue uniform at the back of the most decorated speed skater of all time, Ariana Fontana. She will be a contender as well. Could one of these darker horses perhaps come through? The likes of Gabriela Topolska, who is just going to concede that first spot for now to Corinne Stoddard. Stoddard been on the podium twice this season in this event, with that win last week in Beijing. Her first ever tour victory. And she was also bronze medalist in Montreal too, as there's a little close contact between Danae Blake and Stoddard. Fontana making her way to the front. We're now with the Chinese skater on the front. That is Zhang Yizhi.
Skaters taking turns, fighting for the lead here, and now everybody starts to settle in. So coming around in the laps here with 6 to go. A bump between Kristen Santos Griswold and Danae Blake. Ariana Fontana moving up in the third, and Kim Gilly moving around the outside.
The oohs and ahs of the crowd, and now the cheer as that woman Kim Gilly goes up around the outside and tries to make her way to the front. It's tight between Kim Gilly and the American Kristen Santos Griswold, but it is still Kim Gilly. Now Santos Griswold tries to make another move, and she passes the Korean White Tiger.
Smart move by Kristen Santos Griswold to go to the front, because Ariana Fontana still building speed. She is losing speed now.
Remember, this is just a semi-final as we call these names: Santos Griswold, Kim, Stoddard, Blake, Fontana. At the moment, it's Kristen Santos Griswold. Corinne Stoddard, her teammate, trying to stick in with Kim Gilly, and the Chinese skater, that is Zhang. Fontana, Blake, all seem to be out of it now. It is Kristen Santos Griswold on the front with Kim Gilly. Stoddard stretching. Top 2 go through. It's Santos Griswold from Kim Gilly, and Corinne Stoddard held out of it and frustrated as well, really frustrated. Here's Corinne Stoddard, winner of this event. She's going to have to wait on times.
A good build and a good stretch for the line by Corinne Stoddard. A chaotic race, so much movement. This entire race was attack, counter, attack over and over again, which can really burn up the legs. We're seeing that in Ariana Fontana, and a bump here between Fontana and Blake, opening some room for Kristen Santos Griswold. And remember, Fontana is on her 4th weekend in a row of international racing. She did 2 weekends of long track, 2 weekends of short track. Corinne Stoddard building on the outside, stretching for the line. A valiant effort by the USA Eagles, and well maintained by the Korean White Tiger.
Only 1 fastest third skater will go through, so Corinne Stoddard has an anxious wait now, with another 2 semi-finals to come to see if she is that skater. The winner of this event in Beijing last week, Kristen Santos Griswold and Kim Gilly, make their way through to the A final. Zhang and Blake. Zhang definitely into the B final. Danae Blake also has to wait and see. Second semi-final then sees Courtney Sorrell of the Canadian Ice Maples, Shim Suki, Korean White Tigers, Kim Hyo-jin, Australian Racing Roo, Petra Yasupati, Hungarian Falcon, Hane Desmet, the Belgian Ice Bear, Arena Yamana, Japan Ninja, and Hwa Ying, the Chinese Long.
And so we did see the stacked field in the first semifinal. That does not mean these next two semifinals are easy, however. Hannah Desmet, well known for her abilities in the 1500 meter. Courtney Sureau, an absolute powerhouse as well.
Hannah Desmet, second in Montreal, won the winner of this event in Montreal too. I'm sure they wouldn't have minded seeing that very stacked field in the first one. A few of the rest of these skaters though.
Well, what's nice is that 2 of the top 4 skaters have been eliminated going into the A final. So at this point, they just have to focus on making it to the A final, and their chances for a medal have greatly improved.
Desmet it is who gets us underway with Seoul behind her. And we've got Yazapati as well, the Hungarian Falcon. And settle into the rhythm of a 1500 metres where the speed starts to build, the tactics, just the little looks over the shoulder of Seoul, left and right, seeing who's coming. And first of all, it's going to be one of the Korean Ice Tigers. That is Shim. And a touch on the back there of Seoul. And Shim, as they just reformation, get back into formation rather.
Skaters wanting to be up in qualifying position, but not wasting energy there. We're not seeing a fast pace here, so that tells me no one's stressing for that fastest third time. That doesn't mean they can't get it. It just means that the strategy here is focused on racing.
Might be the good news for Corinne Stoddard, who will be anxiously waiting the USA Eagle after finishing third in the first of our semi-finals.
Nice move by Yazapati, getting to the front and then scrubbing speed a little bit, because you don't want to waste energy at the front. You just want to use as much energy as it takes to get there and then get back into controlling the race. Again, there's a difference between leading and pulling. Leading means you're controlling the pace. Pulling means you're carrying everyone else to a fast lap time.
Fierce concentration on the face of our front runner at the moment. That is Courtney Sureau, the Ice Maple, just looking as Desmet comes up on her inside shoulder, and Hannah Desmet, the Belgian Ice Bear, will take the lead.
Courtney Sureau doing the right thing there, building her speed. Now she's playing a defensive game. You see her looking down behind her, and she doesn't want to stay in second. She wants to go back on offense and make Hannah Desmet defend against the other skaters in the pack.
They look like they like to attack the Canadian Ice Maples, to be the one at the head, say you beat me. If you're good enough, well, fair enough. But you've got to get past me. And now another little surge from Courtney Sureau. Desmet sticks with her, the Hungarian there as well. There's 6 skaters all rammed up. We've lost the Australian off the back, and now Desmet again has another go back at Seoul. It is the Belgian Ice Bear back in front. The Korean White Tiger looking to make a move as well. Hannah Desmet will take the lead into this final lap. Seoul has to chase. First and second skaters across the line will go through to the A final. At the moment, that is Hannah Desmet and Courtney Sureau, and that is how it'll stay.
That will not be a fastest third time for Petra Yazapati. Right now, Corinne Stoddard sitting with that time at a 2:23.531. Now, this last semifinal will know exactly what they need to do if they want to get a fastest third time. So here we're seeing Courtney Sureau leading, being overtaken here by Hannah Desmet. Smooth move by Hannah, and great reaction from Courtney Sureau to go immediately into another build-up, into another pass, staying in the front, controlling this race. Yazapati coming up inside the Korean White Tiger to hold her third place position. And a stretch for the line. Courtney Sureau clearly happy with that.
Yeah, little pump of the fist, wasn't it? And a straight look over to where the coaching team is. Yep, job done for Courtney Sureau to get her way into another A final alongside the Belgian Ice Bear, Hannah Desmet. To say, Yazapati not good enough. She'll go into the B final, as will Shim, the Korean, as well as we have one more semi-final to come in the women's 1500. Zoe Deltrap of the Dutch Lions, Gong Li, the Chinese Long, another of the Dutch Lions, Dedi van Oorschot, Choi Min Jong, she's the standout skater in this field, the Korean White Tiger. Elisa Confortola sitting on the cusp of the top 10 in the Crystal Globe. Her Italian teammate, Gloria Iorati, also out there as well. The Polish Hussar is Kamila Stomorowska, and then Elena Izgalieva, the Kazakh Nomad.
Choi Min Jung is the heavy favorite to win this race. but I do not anticipate Choi Min-jung wanting to lead too much here. She has that incredible outside pass, plus with 2 Dutch Lions and 2 Italian Gladiators. There are other skaters in this race who will have the willingness to push the pace, who will be trying for that fastest third time.
Skaters, keep your hands tucked up under the arms, trying to keep as warm as possible before the final moments. Zoe Deltrap with the pink helmet. The Dutch Lion will start in that number 1 lane. A big field of 8 skaters, so another 2 have to sit in tucked behind. A click of the skates into the ice as we get ready to go in the last of our semi-finals, the women's 1,500 metres. 2 places remaining in the A final, although there is a spot up for grabs still for the fastest third place skater.
Now, with 8 skaters in this race, it is dangerous to be any farther back than 6th place in this pack, because the only way to move up from that far back, you either have to pick skaters off one at a time, which takes too long in a 1,500 meter race, or you have to take one big decisive move up on the outside, and it's too much space to cover.
Well, already the Polish skater Kamila Stormarowska, who was one of those back skaters at the start, has thought, I'm not going to stay back here, and make a move early on to get up to the front in the first couple of laps.
And that's exactly what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to go up to the front and lead while it's easy. Here comes Choi Min-jung saying, I don't want to stay in the back either. Gloria Ioriatti catching a ride.
Choi Min-jung, just a little tap on the back there of the Polish skater as it gets close between Stormarowska and Zoe Deltrap. Adjust to the glasses, a reset for the pink helmet of Deltrap as now first the Chinese and then the Italian look to hitch a ride around the front, and that is the other of the Italians, Elisa Confortola.
You're watching at home, be ready for another attack. Confortola's settling in here, so we see the Dutch Lion Van Oorschot building on the outside, her teammate Deltrap coming with.
All the while too, keep an eye on the skater in 7th place at the moment. That is Choi Min-jung. She is the pedigree, and this has been on the podium as the 2 Dutch skaters collide, both go down. Van Oorschot and Deltrap landing on top of each other. The 2 Dutch Lions hit the ice, and so now we have 6 skaters remaining, and Choi Min-jung is going to try and make the most of that incident and steam around the outside, roared on the White Tiger by the home crowd.
Some jostling for position there between the Chinese Lung and the Gladiator Confortola. Now Confortola fighting off Stormarowska.
Remember, it's 1 and 2 who go through to the final. At the moment, it is Choi Min-jung, who's had some great success already this weekend, let alone today. Winner in the mixed team relay just less than an hour ago. It is the Korean from the Italian at the moment.
Another move by Ioriatti. Stormarowska blocking that move and staying in 3rd place.
It is the Italian helmet of Elisa Confortola who's tracking behind Choi Min-jung. The Polish Stormarowska still in it, still fighting, trying to be a best third. The Choi Min-jung goes forward. She takes the win from Elisa Confortola. They go through to the A final.
And that is not a fast enough third to kick Corinne Stoddard out. So Stoddard will go to the A final. We're seeing skaters 3 wide and then a collision between the 2 Dutch Lions. Let's see if we can figure out how that happens. Deltrap on the inside getting caught up, blades in the ice, running right into her teammate Van Oorschot. Min-jung coming around the outside. 2 arms on her back. She makes it look so easy. The Chinese Long blocking against the Italian here. We'll have to wait for the race review to see who will get the call. Confortola peeking over her shoulder, making sure she's safe as she crosses the finish line.
Choi Min-jung, most impassive on the face. That's the first order of business. Get in, get out, and get ready for a final.
Well, as Ariana Fontana shared with us earlier in the show, that the goal is to make the A final and then worry about getting a medal.
Get there first. And that is
right.
what Choi Min-jung has done. She is off. because the final of the women's 1500 metres is in half an hour's time. It is a really quick turnaround. The B final coming at 11 minutes past 3 local time. So as I say, that's only 20 minutes away. The A final will follow shortly after.
So these skaters need to quick get their skates off. They need to take their equipment to their coaches to have it checked. Maybe they need to sharpen. They need to get on the bike to cool down their legs and then start running to warm the legs back up. They'll probably want to do a little bit of stretching and see their physio for a quick leg shake before they come back for the final. They haven't even eaten or gone to the bathroom yet, folks. There's so much to do and not enough time. Officials reviewing the video now, and not only do we have trackside video, we have a whole video review room to review every pass from every angle. So we're seeing here, here that's the contact between the Dutch Lions. Minjung safely in front. A battle between the Italian Gladiator and the Chinese Long. Italy clearly feeling impeded on. Teammate Ioriati barely squeaking up the inside of Gong Li.
That's brutal, isn't it, when it's a teammate taking out a teammate as well, when you think of the overall points on offer for the race for the Crystal Globe, both individually and for your national team, your team mascot. It was an awkward fall too for Zoe Deltrap as Van Oorschot landed on top of it into the ice. There is confirmation of Van Oorschot will get advanced through to the B final. Choi Min-jong and Lisa Comfort's hold it through to the A final. Stormoroska, the B final, her time not quick enough to get her through to the medal round. And that means good news for Corinne Stoddard, the winner of this event in Beijing a week ago. She will go through as a fastest third qualifier. There it is, confirmation into the A final for Corinne Stoddard, the USA Eagle. Our finalists then for the women's 1500 metres, that final coming up shortly. What a final it will be. It's a big field, a good field, strong across the board.
And it stands out, while we mentioned in that first semifinal, the entire podium from last week was in that semifinal, and the entire podium progressed back into the final from that one race.
We'll move into the quarterfinals of the men's 1,000 metres. Liu Xiaowang, Kim Tae-sung, the Korean White Tiger, Martin Kolinic, the Croatian Dalmatian, William Donjanu, the leader of the Crystal Globe from the Canadian Ice Maples, and Ole Hendai. First and second place skaters will go through to the semi-finals with a maximum of the 2 quickest thirds over the course of these 4 quarters. It's a strong field as well.
And that's the thing about the new World Tour format, is that every field is strong.
Yeah, I feel like we're saying that. It's stacked.
Go to the start.
1,000 metres for men, the quarterfinal underway. Top 2 will go through to the semis. At the moment, it is Liu Xiaoyang who will lead them off the front. The Korean Kim will be well supported as well, and Donjanu, the long, lean figure in the 3rd place spot, will track those 2 at the front at the moment.
The 1,000 meter being the most tactical distance in short track speed skating. It's as fast as a 500 meter, but twice as long. It burns the legs, it burns the lungs, and it tests these athletes' racing abilities to the max.
Well, Hando just tried to squeeze his way past Donjanu, gave him a little quick look over the shoulder. It is Kim for the Korea White Tigers as Donjanu looks to make his first move. Oh, squeezes his way between Kim and Liu. Does Donjanu to move up to second.
Not only does he move up to second, but he immediately controls his speed, leaving that little gap. That means he can close the gap for an offensive move or use that space for defense. He's going on offense.
There he goes again, Donjanu into first place, wanting to attack, and now Liu tries to come back at him as well. It's tight between the Korean White Tiger and the Chinese Long, but at the moment the Ice Maple, William Donjanu at the front and putting on a burst of speed. Oh, Handai goes down. Somehow Liu stayed upright as well. And then a little bump between Liu Xiaoang and Kim Tae-sung. He's lost his speed. Liu just holds up. He'll cross in second. Donjanu safely out of drama in the front of the pack. We've got a couple of video reviews here on that last lap between Liu Xiaoang and Kim Tae-sung. There was definite contact, and that man there, Ole Handai, he hit the ice.
A lot of movement here in this 1,000 meter. Here we see Kim Tae-sung moving up to the front. Donjanu, how does he do it? How does he squeeze into those tiny little spaces and then put on even more power to surge up to the front? Hyundai having a tremendous weekend of skating, just gets up on his toes, can't control his blades. And Liu trying to squeeze in here, getting his shoulders even, but then making contact. That's what the officials are reviewing. You have 2 yellow dots on your screen. Donjanu peeking over his shoulder, making sure he's crossed the line safely.
He was good as gold safely. That man there, Hyundai, he took a real tumble and almost clipped Liu on the way as well. I think he did get a little bit of Liu's leg. He managed to stay upright, but we're still reviewing that incident.
And the officials are reviewing a possible call on China for that pass on Korea. That was a late pass going into the corner. Hyundai just seems to get sandwiched a little bit here. Liu also absorbing some of that impact. And here Liu goes up the inside. He's riding that right foot, trying to squeeze in. He does get his shoulders just slightly by the Korean skater. However, you need to be even or slightly in front before block 2. Otherwise, that's known as an illegal late pass.
Kim Tae-sung is waiting to see the outcome of this review. He was 3rd overall. Gets a nice applause from the crowd as they see him up on the big screen. Liu Xiaoang was the 2nd place skater across the line, which as it stands would get him through to the semi-final. But we'll find out the outcome of this review first.
After review, we give a yellow card to number 10 from People's Republic of China.
Wow, it's a yellow card against Liu Xiaoang. And what that will mean is that Kim Tae-sung will go through to the semi-finals.
And what the yellow card means is that the skater has exhibited dangerous behavior. That late inside pass is considered one of the most dangerous, most technical passes that you can make in this sport. Liu sets it up well. He does the right track pattern from out to in. He just doesn't have the speed to finish it. That also means that Liu will lose all of his points in this distance. A penalty means you lose your points up to the round that you've skated in. A yellow card means you lose all the points from the distance from the entire event.
Roberts Kreuzbergs, Lorenzo Privitali, Dan Kos, Zhang Sungwoo, and Dian Celia. Our next 5 skaters trying to vie for a place in the semi-finals of the 1,000. That man's already got a medal this weekend. Roberts Kreuzbergs, the Latvian gold star. He starts from the 1st position, lane 1, on the start line for this 1,000-meter quarterfinal. Intense focus on the line as they look to surge away. Kreuzberg's bronze in the 500 metres yesterday afternoon. He'll concede front place now to Lorenzo Privitali.
Not only was that Kreuzberg's first medal in the 500 meter, it was his first time in the A final in the 500 meter event. No wonder he's feeling strong and confident off of the start and moving back into first place in this race.
Looking to try and get his way through to another semi-final. The Latvian gold star being tracked at the moment by Dan Kos of the Dutch Lions, the Italian gladiator there as well. And don't forget, of course, the Korean Jang. The crowd will let you know when he makes a move. Don't worry about us.
It's true, we'll hear the roar of the crowd as they cheer the White Tiger on. He squeezes up into 3rd.
Oh, just found a smallest little opening to get in front of Privitali. Picks off the Italian. Can he pick off the Dutchman and the Latvian now? It's still Roberts Kreuzberg's top 2 go through to the semi-finals.
Kreuzberg's doing a tremendous defensive track pattern and progressing the lap times bit by bit. Dan Kos doing an effective defensive track, trying to hold everyone off behind him.
Oh, it's a tight squeeze around that bend as again the Korean tries to make a move. He's been pushed really wide and now having to make a charge around the outside, but he's lost ground. Kreuzberg's holding it at the moment from Previtali, the Italian. It's tight in the finish. Kreuzberg holds to the line with Previtali third, and Jung will sit in, third position. Previtali was second.
Lots of movement, lots of jostling in that race, except for the Latvian Gold Star going out to the front, controlling the pace. And remember, that's the difference between leading and pulling. When you're leading, you're manipulating the speed, you're manipulating the track pattern, you're controlling the racers behind you. And that's what Dan Koss is doing here. Even though he's in second position, he's choosing a defensive strategy, but you can't defend the outside and the inside at the same time. And that's what happened. The Italian Gladiator and Korean White Tiger attacking at the same time. Dan Koss can do nothing about it. And then it is Previtali crossing the line in second, with Sungwoo Jang coming across in the time of 1:26.394. We'll see if that holds to move him on to the next round.
He will keep a nervous eye over the next two quarterfinals to see if it's enough to see him progress as one of our fastest third skaters through to the semi-finals. Kreuzbergs and Previtali are through. Some long, Chinese long, Pietro Segal, Italian Gladiator, Jordan Pierre-Gilles, Canadian Ice Maple, Gleb Evchenko, Kazakh Nomad, and Stun Desmet, the Belgian White Tiger. Nice and relaxed was Jordan Pierre-Gilles. Top two will advance. It's a strong field. Really strong field, in fact, as these five men line up. Evchenko last to make his way to the line. Jordan Pierre-Gilles looks up to the stand. From the middle of the pack, the Canadian Ice Maple look to get quickest off the line, and that's exactly what he does in this 1,000-metre quarterfinal. Top two progressing. Here's the Chinese long, that is Sun Long. Goes in next to the Ice Maple, settling in for the action. Desmet makes a little early move around the outside.
Jordan Pierre-Gilles letting Desmet get a little bit of a gap there on him, but then controlling the pace. And so you can see Stan Desmet up in front. He gets a little lower as he goes around the turns. That's how he absorbs the force of the turn and turns it into speed. Then he stands up a little bit in the straightaway. So he's not going top speed yet. He's controlling the pace of the race. Pierre-Gilles sliding up into first.
There is minuscule gaps between each of these skaters for which to be able to take, just like Sun Long has done to get in front of Desmet, squeezing himself in between the Belgian and the White Tiger. The Italian Gladiator pushing Desmet wide. It's still Jordan Pierre-Gilles now from Sun Long, as again the Italian gets stuck behind. Sun Long makes a move and he takes over the front from the Ice Maple.
Sun Long can hear all the craziness happening behind him, and Stan Desmet barely holds coming around that turn.
Somehow held on to it, did Desmet. They get the ballot. Sun Long at the front with Jordan Pierre-Gilles in control at the moment. Top two will progress. The Italian not out of it as well. Here comes Pietro Segal trying to take on Jordan Pierre-Gilles. Won't get him. It's Sun Long at the front. Jordan Pierre-Gilles from Pietro Segal. They're going to check on a photo for second place. It was tight. It looked to the naked eye as if the Ice Maple got there.
Incredible skating by Pietro Segal, however, carrying his speed on the outside, fighting till the finish. So we're seeing Stan Desmet here coming to the front. Jordan Pierre-Gilles staying calm, letting Stan go and push the pace, and then closing the gap into a pass. So much back and forth here, a lot of aggressive skating, and then they're three wide coming down that straightaway. A good stretch for the line by Pietro Segal. I think the Ice Maple got it. But here's the thing, even if that move doesn't work, the late outside pass, we're seeing the final here. Pierre-Gilles is going on, and Seagal will not get the fastest third time.
Had a really good go at it, did Seagal at the end. Not quite enough to get past the Canadian ice maple Jordan Pierre-Gilles, who will advance through to the semi-finals alongside the Chinese skater Sun Lo. Last of our men's quarterfinals in the 1,000, the #1 ranked skater Park Ji-won, Furkan Akar from Turkey, Jens van 't Veld, the Dutch Lion, Clayton De Clemente, USA Eagle, and Shogo Miyata, Japan's Ninja. Park Ji-won, #1 on his helmet, as the reigning Crystal Globe champion from last season, starting in #1 position here. Brought the Korean White Tigers home strongly in the mixed relay final, held off the challenge to help secure gold for the home team just under an hour ago, and now Park Ji-won looking to make his way through to the semi-finals of the 1,000 metres in the men's competition. Clayton De Clemente making an early move around the outside.
De Clemente doing the right thing here. He does not want to get stuck in the back of the pack. He wants that fastest third time. Now he's putting himself a little bit at risk here to see if he will have the legs to hold on to the top 3 positions, but he has nothing to lose. It's the last individual distance for these men. They're laying it all on the ice.
Here goes Jens van 't Veld making a move. He won this event back in the first Montreal World Tour event 6 weeks or so ago. Jens van 't Veld asking Park Ji-won to chase him.
Jens van 't Veld is pushing the pace here. We'll see if Park has a response.
Oh, little bobblies. He hit one of the blocks, did Park, just caught on the hand, but able to maintain his speed and standing. There's a couple of the other skaters try and make a little move. It's the Japanese Ninja, Shogo Miyata, coming around the outside of Park. Can't get him though. Oh, just about tripped for De Clemente, but it's still Jens van 't Veld at the top.
Miyata still building his speed on the outside, trying to set up a pass. Park doing a defensive maneuver there, all the way holding his tight track to the finish.
Van 't Veld gets home first, with Park Ji-won holding off the challenge of the Japanese skater Shogo Miyata.
A 1:24 unofficial. That is our fastest heat of the day. We're seeing Clayton De Clemente moving up to the front here. Park Ji-won taking the lead back. And Jens van 't Veld putting his hat in the ring, moving up to the front. Again, not even taking his arms off of his back to complete that pass. Furkan Akar trying to put his hat in the ring, but here it is, Miyata building speed on the outside. He can't quite make it at the finish. Good stretch for the line. Valiant effort by the Japanese Ninja. And he will get the fastest third time, Miyata, in a 1:24.937.
Great surge at the end for it, and a little smile too for Shogo Miyata as these men taking a big breath of oxygen. Jens van 't Veld will go through as the #1 qualifier for the semi-finals with Park Ji-won, the reigning Crystal Globe leader, and a fast enough time for Shogo Miyata to advance through to the next round. So there are our semi-finalists, all the heavy hitters there. Shogo Miyata and Jang Sang-woo, the Korean White Tiger, going through by virtue of their time, finishing third and fast enough to get them through to the semi-finals of the men's 1,000 metres. We'll move on to the women's B final of the 1,500 metres. 7 skaters in this B final. Zhang from the Chinese Longs, Danae Blay, the Canadian Ice Maples, Kamila Skomorowska, Polish Hussars, Gloria Irati, the Italian Gladiator, Petri Kasapati, Hungary's Falcons, Shimsuki, Korea White Tigers, and then Dita van Alshot, who has advanced through to this B final after a crash in her semi. That takes her into this B final. that sign. Love the heart sign. I'm familiar in this part of the world from Petra Yazapati. As Shim Soo-ki gets a warm applause, sitting 14th overall in the Crystal Globe standings. And yeah, Dita van Oorschot, who took the tumble over her teammate Zoe Deltrat in that semi-final, has recovered quickly and getting that advancement through to this B final. B final of the women's 1500 metres. All of these skaters looking to finish as high as possible in the field to accumulate those all-important Crystal Globe points for both themselves and their team.
And there's no time standard. We are purely racing for top finish. So we got a slow start here. Everyone's conserving energy. And that tells me that they're going to let it wait for the sprint. However, Danae Blay likes to go in the front. She trusts her legs and she has the fitness to push the pace. Now she may choose a different strategy here in the B final just to test herself on something new. And the officials can stop this race and start it over if they don't start moving soon. That's very rare, but it could happen as we're seeing 20-second laps.
Nobody in any great rush at the moment to get a wriggle on in this B final. It is very cagey on a Sunday afternoon at the Mokdong Arena.
This might be how you go out and skate on World Ice Skating Day.
Well, look, it just shows that even the best can go at this pace. Put your skates on, have a go on World Ice Skating Day. You never know where it might lead you. And now we'll start to pick up. Somebody's going to take the bull by the horns. It's Dita van Oorschot, the Dutch Lion, who'll go to the front and get us moving in this B final.
And there she is, Danae Blay tucking right into second. Shim Soo-ki putting her hat in the ring, wanting to lead this race in front of her home crowd.
Well, why wouldn't you too if you're Kim? Just put on a show for your home, get that feeling of having a win. Yes, it's a B final, but winning a race in front of your home fans is always important as a big cluster comes together, and the Italian Gladiators had enough too. She tries to go to the front with Danae Blay.
Perfect timing there for Danae Blay, staying in second.
Now it's Zhang for China with Yarati, and still, wanting just to keep up the top there is Danae Blay.
And that's the best strategy. That was my personal favorite strategy as an athlete, because in second, you don't have to push the pace, but you have the advantage of listening to the skaters behind you. As soon as you hear someone accelerating, you accelerate, you move, always staying in top two without getting caught in any scuffles.
Danae Blay sitting 7th overall in the Crystal Globe race after that great win in the 1,000 metres in Beijing. Little shoulder-to-shoulder contact there between the Polish Rezar Skomorowska and the Italian Hirati. It is now still Danae Blay, and a little move coming out the outside by the Hungarian Falcon. That is Petra Yazapati. Likes to be aggressive and get into it. All of the Hungarian Falcons, in fact.
And she needs to keep stepping to either tuck into second or go around to the front. It will be second for Yazapati. Yoriati coming up into fourth.
Final lap in the 1,000 metres of this B final. It's Danae Blay in control. The rest of the skaters, the other 6, need to try and make a move on the ice maple. Not going to be able to do it. And Danae Blay will cruise home to take out the B final.
An excellent show of fitness by these ladies in the final B. Shim Soo-ki moving up to the front, making it tight and then getting overtaken on the inside and the outside, plus Zhang moving up the outside as well to take over the lead. Blay finding that inside lane for the inside pass, timing it well so there's no contact. We are seeing a little contact there between Zhang and Yazapati. Yazapati still able to overtake the Chinese long in finish in second place.
Job done for Danae Blay to take that B final in the women's 1,500 metres. That will see her 8th overall for the weekend in that event. As we move now into our women's A final in the 1,500 metres, and this is some field. And you think the likes of Danae Blay didn't even make the final 7. Here is all the star names to race this final. Three of them coming from that previous semi as well. Corinne Stoddard, who won this event in Beijing last week, had to get through as on her time. Was one of the fastest third place finishes. That is how tight and how impressive that heat was, that lineup was.
Velzabar, the only one of the top 5 not in this final A.
Kristen Santos Griswold, she has been on the podium in multiple events across the season, but never stood atop it yet this season. Is this the one for the 30-year-old, her second final of the weekend, the USA Eagle? The relaxed, reflective shades of Kim Gilly. Having an outstanding weekend so far. She won the 1,000 meters. She's won the mixed relay with the Korean White Tigers. Can she add the 1,500 to that list? This woman, Corinne Stoddard, knows what it's like to win a 1,500 meters. She did it just a week ago. Had to battle her way to get into this final, but ready to roar, ready to soar, the Eagle.
That's right.
The second of our Korean White Tigers, Choi Min-jong, also had an outstanding weekend. She was on the podium with Kim, taking the bronze medal in the 1,000 meters yesterday. And of course, that mixed relay not that long ago. And the Italian gladiator has battled her way through. Elisa Confortola. The Belgian ice bear, Hannah de Smet, has had success in this event already this season as well. Runner-up in Montreal 1. She took the title in Montreal 2 in the 1,500. And there ain't no final without an ice maple in it, and it's Courtney Sarot who will wave that Canadian flag once more, the crystal globe. They all stand next to. What a great final lineup we've got, Catherine.
We're about to see some world-class racing here, and I'll tell you what, just if this was me in this race, I wouldn't have a plan. I would be going purely off of instinct, because how can you plan a race like this when you have no idea what everyone else is going to do, but you do have an idea of what everyone else is capable of? Any woman here could win this race.
Seven world-class skaters, all capable of victory, underway in the women's 1,500-metre final. Santos Griswold, Kim, Stoddard, Choi, Confortola, de Smet and Sarot. 2 American Eagles, 2 Korean White Tigers, an Italian gladiator, a Belgian ice bear and a Canadian ice maple. And it is the Belgian Hannah de Smet with Corinne Stoddard up to the front. The 2 USA Eagles wanting to just to press and dictate at the start. Just a little tap on the backside from Stoddard to Santos Griswold. The cagey opening moments of the 1,500.
What's important for the USA Eagles is not to waste too much energy fighting with each other. If they want to skate 1 and 2, that's fine, but the name of the game here is conservation. Too many passes early in the race will burn up the legs.
Choi Min-jong makes the early pass to warm applause. Kim Gilly still sitting in there too. And then the Italian gladiator, not going to let the big guns dictate just yet. That's Elisa Confortola.
Good timing by Confortola. Now I'm expecting Courtney Sarot to make a move here. As soon as Confortola settles in, it'll be time to make that next big pass.
Sarot is sitting at the back at the moment. It's de Smet who tries to make that big pass at the moment, and that's exactly what it is that the Ice Bear does. Hannah de Smet takes that pull, that shift on the front of the train.
A very strategic race here, not a lot of movement. Everyone wanting to save their energy so they can move when it counts
Santos Griswold somehow found some room to get into third place. Kim Gilly just tucked in the back, just quietly at the moment, the number one on the helmet. Hasn't seen a lot of movement from her. Seoul now just starting to put a little push on, but again they stay in this chain, this long chain of 7. Santos Griswold's had enough. She makes another move up the field. Now here comes Kim Gilly starting to get into it as well as the American goes again, Santos Griswold.
Kristen needs to take off here. The Koreans are coming. Will they catch her? We'll wait and see.
It's Kristen Santos Griswold from the United States with Hannah Schmidt. The Koreans out of it at the moment. Is this the time for Santos Griswold? The moves are coming. Can the USA Eagle hold on to get top of the podium for the first time this season? Kristen Santos Griswold, Hannah Schmidt.
It is a photo finish, but I think Santos Griswold got it. She's had a tough World Tour season so far. She's been looking forward to getting back on top. Will today be the day that she'll definitely get to share the medals with her teammate as long as there are no penalties? For now, we wait and see. Will she share from the gold or silver medal position?
Oh, they shut the Koreans right out of it in the end. The White Tigers, Kim Gilly and Choi Min-jong could not get past at the moment. Stoddard confirmed in third, but who took it, the Ice Bear or the Eagle?
Hannah Desmet moving up the outside here, overtaking Confortola. Min-jung waiting in third. Kristen Santos Griswold sneaking by. Min-jung does not make it easy, and then when Kristen goes to the front, she takes off. Hannah Desmet blocking Kim Gilly right there, keeping her on her hip as she herself moves up into second. And Kristen Santos Griswold seems to hold on to the finish as they stretch for the line. We're still waiting for that photo finish result.
The tightest of finishes, it goes to Kristen Santos Griswold, the USA Eagle, her first win of the season. Finally it comes. She's hit the ice so many times. She's been on podiums, now she'll stand atop.
Kristen Santos Griswold has been a world-class skater for many, many years now. She's still searching for that consistency, finishing at the top over and over and over again. She's more than capable, and she's not even at her peak.
What an affirmation it is that everything is on the right track. You can get those wins, you get that little bit of luck, and you get the performance when she needed it. Kristen Santos Griswold takes the 1500 metre title here at the Short Track World Tour in Seoul. It was one heck of a finish though from Hannah Schmidt, who has had great success in this 1500 metres.
What Hannah did well there is that she applied pressure the entire time, and we've talked throughout the weekend how you don't actually always have to complete the pass. Sometimes you just have to put pressure on the skater you're trying to pass. Hannah pressured that whole 13 and a half laps, but Kristen Santos Griswold comes out on top.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will now begin the women's 1500 meter award ceremony for the IC Short Track World Tour Seoul 2024-25, presented by KB Financial Group.
지금부터 2024-25 KB금융 ISU 쇼트트랙 월드투어 서울 여자 1500m 시상식을 시작하겠습니다.
The awards for this event will be presented by Mr. Yoon Hong-kun, the president of the Korean Skating Union, and Mrs. An Sang-mi, Nagoya Winter Olympic medalist.
동경기 시상은 대한빙상동계연맹의 윤홍근 회장님, 나가노 동계올림픽 금메달리스트 안상미님께서 해주시겠습니다.
IC Short Track World Tour Seoul 2024-25, presented by KB Financial Group. In third place and the winner of the bronze medal from United States, representing United States Eagles, Corinne Stoddard.
Great bounce back for Corinne Stoddard to take the bronze medal. Remember, she only qualified through to the final on her fastest time, on being one of the third fastest, and then responded to be on the podium again in this event for the third time this season.
Nagoya Winter Olympic gold medalist. KB mascot dog Coley Bravo will be presented along with the medal.
been a real joy watching Corinne Stoddard's career take off from making it to A finals to top 4 finishes, now on to top 3 finishes.
First win of the weekend for the Belgian Ice Bears, and it is who else but Hane Desmet, the 28-year-old, first ever Belgian to win a short track Olympic medal, and this her third of the season in this event. Almost took it photo finish in the end.
Once again, Hane Desmet.
Support the Belgian fans with the Desmet face mask.
Representing United States Eagles, Kristen Santos-Griswold.
Winner of the women's 1500 metres, Kristen Santos-Griswold, the veteran skater, still with plenty in the legs though, pushing and pushing for more, and finally gets her first win of the World Tour season.
That's a big relief for Kristen Santos-Griswold because, you know, if I'm her, I got to know deep down that I can do it, but knowing that you can and putting the proof in the pudding are two separate things. A well-deserved win here in Seoul.
Fourth time on the podium this season across the various events, but first time with that #1 spot in front of her name. Kristen Santos-Griswold, the winner of the women's 1500. Hane Desmet, Belgium second, and the USA Eagle, Corinne Stoddard, third. Desmet has to get back for the other photo, turn around, she took off, and she gets back in to have a wave to the crowd, and the photographer's up the top as well.
이상으로 여자 1500m 시상을 마치도록 하겠습니다.
Job done for the women's 1500, the endurance event. There's confirmation of the Crystal Globe standings, and Kristen Santos-Griswold making a jump up into third place. She was fifth coming into this weekend. So good moves from the USA Eagle as they all try and track down Zandra Velsabor at the top of that log. We'll see Velsabor and, of course, many more of these skaters still to come. We still have one more final to go for the women. That is the 500 metres coming up a little later this afternoon. Still got the men's 1,000 metres and 5,000 metre relay all still going. Plenty more skating to come here. The short track World Tour in Seoul as we tick through the finals on the final day of competition on what is World Ice Skating Day as well. A short break to reset the ice, reset the energy levels and get ready to go again as we move into our next group of races. Coming up in just under 20 minutes time, we'll get into the semi-finals of the 1,000 metres for the men, which will build towards our A final in the next session. the final day of racing here at the Short Track World Tour in Seoul. Last week we got a bit of insight, an in-depth look at what it takes to race the 500 metres. This week we're going to find out more about what it takes to win the 1,000 metres.
You know, one that I think is the most fun is the 1,000, because you always kind of have the, if you do a good race, you always have the energy throughout the whole race. So 1,000 is the most fun.
Yeah, the 1,000 meters is the most difficult race because it's a blend between strategy and real speed.
It's a 9 laps race, and usually there's like 5 or 6 skaters in a race.
You have to be like tactical every laps. You have to stay concentrated to be aware of what is happening behind and in front of you, always.
Like sometimes you go fast from the start, sometimes you start a bit slower, and you like also have to keep good position. But yeah, it's basically the mix between the 15 and the 500.
Look at this, 4 in the corner, and somehow they all came through.
Yeah, a lot of people want to take the front position, but some will prefer being patient. That's the two general strategies.
You have to save to your position, your power, and you have to think about your front skaters, behind skaters.
Generally speaking, if you have the space, the audacity to try something like really worth your money, it's going to be by the outside, because you can keep more speed, carry more speed towards the race. But like an inside pass is always a good tool if you're in a tricky position. A general rule of thumb is you want to be in good position in the last 3 laps, so that when you hear that last bell ring for the last lap, you know you can win.
That's what the skaters make of what it takes to win the 1,000 metres. But to unpick short track even more, we sent Catherine Reuter-Adamick out onto the ice.
There are 3 main techniques you will see on the start. First, we have the traditional start where the front foot stays straight, the back foot angles in so the back edge is on the ice. You might also see a kangaroo start where a skater puts their front outside edge on the line and leans their hip forward in the direction they want to go. Finally, you might see a Fontana start, which is really only done by Ariana Fontana. That's where we have 2 inside edges on the ice, all the weight leaning forward towards the first block. To set up for the traditional start, we want the front foot facing straight ahead. The back foot is going to step back, and the inside edge will drive down into the ice. You'll hear that when skaters step on the ice. That means they're planting their inside edge. Then when the starter says ready, they lower down in position. This back leg is loaded. My hip, knee, and ankle are ready for that first step. So on the gun, I can powerfully go. The kangaroo start is a little more difficult. Only about 20% of the field will do the kangaroo start because it starts with a crossover stride instead of a straightaway stride. The benefit is that you have all of your body weight leaning forward over the line before that first step. To set up for the kangaroo start, we put the front outside edge into the ice and load the front foot. The back edge is still planted, but when it's time to go, we'll pop into a crossover and then accelerate towards the first block. It looks like this. The last style of start is the Fontana start. Now, Ariana Fontana made this up by herself a couple years ago when the toe start
was eliminated from the rules in short track speed skating. Everyone had to start with a flat foot. Most skaters went with a traditional or a kangaroo start. Ariana invented a start all by herself. She puts 2 inside edges into the ice, puts all her weight forward over her front foot, so she's ready with power on the front inside edge to take off.
Ready.
There's a reason she's the only one that does it. Lane position is critical in speed skating, especially in the 500. You always want lane 1. That's because you're closest to the first block, and there's some strategy here. The farther I can keep going straight towards the pads, the more I can slow down the acceleration of the skaters in the wider lanes. Now, if we move over into the 3rd lane, this is the worst spot because everyone wants to go there, which means the skater in the 3rd lane is going to get pinched from either side. From this position, you need to be more conservative so that you avoid making body contact or clicking with blades. Finally, if you're all the way out on lane 5 by the wall, it's a pretty big disadvantage because you're so far away from the first block. You have more ice to cover than everyone else. That being said, you have options. You can either stay wide by the pads and focus on building your speed through the front turn, or you can try to step in towards lane 1 a little sooner than you might, covering less distance. Now, either way, you give up the right to the first block, but you give yourself the opportunity to practice more speed and better strategy. When skaters go to the start, they all have their own routine. You'll see some skaters shake their shoulders, some skaters take a big breath, and other skaters put their arms out to the side to make sure no one is impeding on their space. No matter what, when the official says go to the start, we approach the line as close as you can without going over. Ready, down into position. Skaters take a big breath in and hold it. That way when the gun goes off, we can quick exhale to put more power into the push. Looks like this.
Amazing insight from a double Olympic medalist. Now let's continue the action back inside.
천종이요. 도너스 남은 거 내 자리 놨던 도너스 드릴까요?
Racing continues on the final day of the Short Track World Tour. We are into the men's 1,000 metre semi-finals. First and second place skaters will advance through to the finals. We are ticking through these medal events now. It is when the big show comes to play. And in this one, well, the men's 1,000 metre semi-finals, the podium from last week, Felix Roussel, Michal Nowinski, Noel Tracy, neither of those three, none of those three have made it through to the semi, showing the calibre of this field. Our first semi-final has Jens van 't Veld of the Dutch Lions. Park Ji-won, the hometown hero and the #1 on his helmet. Lorenzo Previatalik, two Korean White Tigers in this one, as Jang Sung-woo will also join Park and Sun Long as well in the men's 1,000 metre semi-final. 1/12 winner of this event in the first Montreal competition of the World Tour. All eyes on this man with the specially designed #1 helmet. 1,000 metre men's semi-final. As Catherine Reuter, Adamic, you like to say, this is the skaters' race.
This is the skaters' race. It's where the 500 meter specialist and the 1,500 meter specialists can all come together and tough it out for a 1,000 meter race. Plus you have your middle distance specialists in this race. It is the speed skaters' race. It's fast, it's technical, it's tactical, all the things.
It is Van 't Veld at the front at the moment. He was, as I say, winner of this event in Montreal. Park Ji-won, silver medalist in the 1,500 metre yesterday, winner of the mixed relay a couple of hours ago, as he goes up into second spot just ahead of his teammate Jang Sung-woo. They are all chasing at the moment the Dutch Lion, the Oranje, at the front.
And I like to see Van 't Veld leading like this. Every exit, every corner exit is hard. You can tell he picks up the pace and then slows a bit going into the turn. He knows that there will be an attack. He's trying to burn up everyone's legs so that they can't make it.
Don't forget Sun Long, the Chinese Wong as well, sitting in fourth position at the moment. He will be there or thereabouts too, and starting to make a move, as is Park Ji-won. Van 't Veld holds them off as they take the bell in this 1,000 metres. Now Park Ji-won goes to the front of the semi-final. It's going to be a real drag race to get that second spot. It's going to be Van 't Veld who takes it. Park Ji-won made himself safe at the front, and there was a real battle behind him as Jens van 't Veld goes through with Park Ji-won to the semi-finals. Jang Sung-woo getting himself up into third position. That still gives him a chance.
He still has a chance, like you say, Ricky, to move on that fastest third time. The only thing the Korean White Tigers could have done differently was time their attack together. It's not possible to defend both outside and inside lanes. So by going one at a time, they give Jens the opportunity to defend. Now here's one up the inside, and there it is. Sun Long actually cutting off the speed of Jang, not allowing for a double attack by the White Tigers. See, he's looking back. I think he was hoping to see his teammate there in second position, but they'll have to wait and see for that fastest third time.
Park Ji-won really hitting some good form this weekend. He will have another final in front of him, another chance to contest for the medals in the men's 1,000 metres, making his way through to the final. Into the A final, Park Ji-won and Jens van 't Veld, with Jang Sung-woo watching on the second semi-final about to come to see if he can hold on to being one of the third fastest skater.
Two ice maples in this next round, so it's normal to see skaters from the same country skating only one or two positions apart from each other, and then the skaters from every other country, they know it's best to split those skaters up, even if there is no intentional assistance between two skaters of the same country. It's natural. They know how each other skates, they know the track pattern, they know the foot speed, they know the timing.
Shogo Miyata of Japan, William Donjanut, the Ice Maple, Roberts Kreuzberg's Latvia Gold Star, really impressive in his quarterfinal. Kim Tae-sung, the local hope, Korea White Tiger. And the second of the Ice Maple is Jordan Pierre-Gilles. He starts out in number 5. There is Donjanut in position number 2 with the Japanese ninja, Shogo Miyata, inside him. Danjanu just burst off that start line to go straight into the front of this race. Oh, Jordan Pierre-Gilles trying to navigate his way through a crowd. Couldn't quite get there, almost came unstuck, but now they all settle into the rhythm and they are going at a clip early on. Here's the Latvian makes a move, Robert Kruisbergs.
Miata sitting in the back, but don't count him out. He's shown us some amazing outside passes on this World Tour stop. Danjanu coming into the front now, and he's a tremendous defensive skater. It's like he has eyes in the back of his head. Pierre-Gilles wants to be up with his teammate. Can he make it?
It was another effortless move to the front from Danjanu, now being overtaken though by the Korean Kim Tae-sung, being hunted by the two Ice Maples. Kim goes to the front, Danjanu right beside him with Jordan Pierre-Gilles in third. Now Danjanu tries to put on a burst of speed around the outside, can't get the Korean, now comes inside again. Danjanu again goes to the front, and Pierre-Gilles squeezes, loses his balance, they've all pulled out. Danjanu will carry on. The other two behind them, Pierre-Gilles and the Korean, another one's gone down. It's going to be William Danjanu, and who stayed out of trouble, Robert Kruisbergs. A lot for the officials to look at the moment as they still go.
It's pandemonium out on the ice as Danjanu comes around cleanly in first. Kruisbergs in second. And Kim Dae-sung in third, but that will not be fast enough for a fastest third time.
Absolute chaotic scenes towards the end of that 1,000 meters. The hands went in the air from Pierre-Gilles and Kim Tae-sung.
So let's break some of this down on the replay. Danjanu defending the outside, which opens up the inside lane for Kim Tae-sung, and he tries to do the same thing twice in a row, sneaking up the inside. It works. We see the two Canadian Ice Maples skating together. Danjanu slingshotting out of the turn, taking an extra straightaway stroke to try to get by without contact. There's not contact, but there is a little bobble, a little touch, and then Pierre-Gilles coming up the inside, just getting tangled in Kim Dae-sung, throwing his arms up. What can I do with that? Kruisbergs, having a bobble, and we can't tell from this angle if the skaters get tangled up or if they hit a soft spot in the ice.
William Danjanu looks up to the big screen and also a big sigh of relief. He would have heard the absolute carnage going on behind him. Jordan Pierre-Gilles heads straight away to grab his coat and await the outcome of this review, of which he will be involved in. You can see him on the side discussing it with the coaches and what might have happened there.
So Danjanu has his shoulders and his hips clearly by Kim Tae-sung, so there's no true contact there, but what they will review this. It's hard to say what happened because here's the thing, sometimes it happens so fast you just get tangled up. Now let's watch Robert Kruisbergs. Okay, so his right skate skids out from behind him at the same time that Miata is trying to come on the outside for a pass. So it looks like two separate instances. However, Kruisberg's instance does impact Miata.
Kruisbergs at the moment took second place. A thumbs up, a yes, no, maybe from Jordan Pierre-Gilles. At least he can smile about it now. It was feisty between the Canadian Ice Maple, though, and Kim Tae-sung, the Korea White Tiger.
Sometimes what's most important is that you're proud of the effort, and especially in this sport, what else possibly could have Pierre-Gilles have done? Almost nothing. You're right on the brink of control and chaos, so maybe there'll be a call going his way. We are looking at a possible call on Korea, arm blocking the Canadian skater.
I love that. They've just gone at it, and now they're literally sitting opposite each other.
I was chatting with the Hungarian coach earlier today. He said, you ladies, you make everything so emotional. Us men, we race it out on the track.
There's possibly some truth to what he's saying.
I said, you guys aren't emotional enough.
Nothing wrong with a bit of emotion. Put it out on the line. So there's some from Jordan Pierre-Gilles.
And we are seeing the arms flying, so again, consistent with a possible arm block. We will have to wait and see the final call from the refs. Multiple calls being reviewed at this time as the ladies take the ice.
Women are getting ready to continue on the 500-meter quarterfinal while we still await the outcome of this 1,000-meter semi-final. I'll tell you who has wandered straight off. That is William Danjanu. He doesn't have to wait. He was clear of everything by the look. This is one of the men awaiting the outcome.
Pierre-Gilles, well known for taking things in stride.
I think the crowd would like the camera to cut back to him just quietly.
We did hear a roar from the crowd as we see Pierre-Gilles gearing down in the heat box.
Skating and a show.
He does take everything well in stride. He's got a great personality, and something that's commonly said here on the rink is, hey, that is short track. The skaters know what they're signing up for. They know what to expect, and they know to just sit and wait patiently for these calls by the refs.
They're really going over this one with a fine-tooth comb. There was a lot to look at for the video officials, for sure.
Well, and it's important to consider on home ice, and Kim Tae-sung being under a little bit of pressure here to perform and being wrapped up in some of those calls. We'll wait and see what the officials have to say.
Here we go.
After review, we gave no penalty due to shared responsibility between skater number 48 from Korea and skater number 7 from Canada. An advancement to B final for skater number 46 from Japan.
So results will stand. There's Jordan Pierre-Gilles. He's not sure, but there's nothing he can do about it now. He'll have to race in the B final alongside Kim again and Shugumiata. He was the one who got taken out as well. But William Danjanu and Roberts Kreuzbergs advanced through to the A final.
Pierre-Gilles throwing his hand in the air over from the heat box side. He may not agree, but he does still get to race in that B final. So no penalty here, shared responsibility. Canada hits Korea, Korea hits Canada. They get all tangled up, the arms go flying. What can we do? Nothing. Nothing can be done in that situation.
Shake hands at the end of it, move on to the next race.
That's right.
So that is the men's semi-final lineup. It is still a very, very good field. Park Ji-won, Jens van Velt, William Danjanu, Roberts Kreuzbergs. All going to be competing in that final later on this afternoon. We're going to go back to the short, sharp 500 metres now, and it's women's quarter-final time. The first and second place skaters and two fastest thirds will go through to the semi-finals. Kristen Santos-Griswold, fresh off winning the 1,500 metres an hour ago, back on the track with Fontana Yazapati, Somoroska, and Annabelle Green, the British Royal. What a test that is, going from the endurance of the 1,500 now to the explosiveness of the 500 for Santos-Griswold, who's going to try and push her way through past Ariana Fontana. Can't do so at the moment, but it's Fontana from Santos-Griswold at the moment.
And Santos-Griswold taking a move up the inside. Well done, but Ariana Fontana gets to keep carrying speed through the corner, but she can't seem to close the gap on Kristen Santos-Griswold.
Boy, the crowd's so appreciative of that move from Kristen Santos-Griswold. She is really popular, and she is exploding away in this 500 if she can maintain that big advantage on the bell. Kristen Santos-Griswold looking to make her way. There's all action behind her. Santos-Griswold will go through to the semi-final, and Ariana Fontana will hold on as well.
Incredible skating by these ladies. Santos-Griswold must feeling a big weight off of her shoulders, finally getting back to the top of the podium for the first time this season. The 500 being a little less pressure race for her. It's more for fun. She's good at it, but she doesn't put the weight of the world on her shoulders, and that's what allows her to skate wild and free, just like this, soaring like the eagle that she is up to the first place and taking off from legendary Ariana Fontana.
Confident skate from KSG, Kristen Santos-Griswold, to see her advance with Fontana through to the semi-finals of the women's 500 metres. Zapati will be waiting to see if she can be one of the fastest two third place skaters. Well, we talk about how relaxed Santos-Griswold can be in this event. Not so much for Zandra Vilsabor, who has absolutely dominated this field, but probably hasn't had the weekend she was hoping for.
Well, Velzabor is just now getting into her best distance. She's the world record holder in this distance, and she's in lane 1, so she's set up perfectly to win the start.
She has won all 3 previous 500s this season in Montreal 1 and 2 and in Beijing. Absolutely dominated and stands atop the Crystal Globe standing. She'll be joined in this quarterfinal by Nicola Mazur, the Polish hussar, Fan Kishin, the Chinese Luang, Shim Soo-ki, Korean White Tiger, and Hani Desmet back as well after success in the 1500 where she took the silver medal. The Belgian Ice Bear. All eyes on this woman though, Zandra Vilsabor.
Polish skater calling for a pause here. Not sure something's wrong with the ice or if she was feeling impeded by Fan Kishin on lane 3, but skaters do have the right to do that, to put their hand up and say pause, please, and the official will restart the race.
They do get the restart. It's Vilsabor who gets the first little battle. Or Desmet's gone down, taking the Chinese long with her. 3 of them go. We're going to have a restart in this race.
And they get up and hustle to their coaches for a blade check.
Chinese skater Fan stayed down a wee while there.
Here's the thing, every time a skater falls, it shakes you up. Even with this new padding system, your body does have to absorb the shock of the fall, and any weak link in the chain is where the skater will start to feel the pain. Hana Desmet trying to pinch in on Soo-ki Shim, not working out, and then having a fall that leads her right into Shim Soo-ki.
Had enough time on that slide, did Shim, to get the legs up, the skates up out of the way and absorb it through the back of the legs into the barrier.
And that's exactly what you want. If you're going to fall in this sport, you want to spin around so that your back hits first, or if you're going in feet first, you want to throw your feet up in the air and try to hit with your butt. Blades in first is the most dangerous way to fall for obvious reasons. Not only do you expose yourself to a blade, but any twist in the ankle or the knee can cause serious damage to the ligaments.
Here is Fan. She was as well as to get up from that spill. But all 5 skaters back up, ready to go. Big deep breath to reset and go again.
So they're closing the box. Whatever just happened goes in the box, the lid goes down, the lock goes on, reset, fresh start.
So a restart in quarterfinal number 2. Top 2 advancing to the semi-finals of the 500 metres. We're just going to be held up again here ever so slightly, making sure everyone is where they should be. Are the officials? Perhaps checking just that ice on the start line.
Skaters need to be taking a deep breath here. This is a lot of interruptions in just one race. They're shaking off any nerves. Blinders are on. Focus.
Who can maintain that intense focus this time again, as there's a battle for the first bet. It's taken by Vilsabor, who has been the standout in this competition throughout the 3 events. The 500 metres she has dominated, and she's dominating at the moment. Now some moves starting to be made by some of the other skaters. Behind her, the Chinese goes out. Fan goes down. It's now Vilsabor with plenty of space in front of her. It's a battle for second to see who can get through to this semi-final. At the moment, it is Mazur, the Polish hussar, who's holding on. But there's moves still to be made from Desmet and the Korean skater Shim. Vilsabor has it. Tight for Desmet around the inside, really tight between Mazur and Desmet. It was Mazur who got it. The Polish skater from the Belgian.
What an unexpected result. Fan Kexin being one of the Chinese Long's best sprinters. Now she holds up here. She does the smart thing. She doesn't create blade contact. She pauses a moment, rebuilds her speed, nails this pass. It's perfect. What happens? The ice gives out. We're on brittle ice here in Seoul. That opens the door for Mazur. Hannah Desmet sneaking into second and trying to squeeze up the inside. We'll have to wait and see the photo. Actually, it looks like Mazur did cross the line in second. Desmet will have to wait and see if she gets a fastest third.
It was a great stretch on the line from Nicola Mazur. Oh, hang on a minute. They've had a relook here. Initially, it was Mazur, and now it is, in fact, Hannah Desmet looking up to see her name in second and qualifying through to the semi-final of the women's 500.
Impressive move by Hannah Desmet to make an inside pass with just a half a lap to go, and then to hold her speed and her tight track coming around to the finish line.
Decent field, this one. Kim Bouton, Florence Brunel, Choi Min-jong, Yana Khan of the Kazakh Nomads, and Ariana Segal from Italy's Gladiators. Trying to earn their places through to the semi-finals.
Two Ice Maples 1 and 2 on the line, but they know Choi Min-jong will be pushing the pace from behind.
Crowd really filled into this afternoon to see the Korean White Tigers continue the success they've had. Even start across the line, the two Ice Maples with the burst of speed to go to the front straight away. Kim Bouton first, followed by Florence Brunel and Choi Min-jong.
Florence Brunel stepping up the inside of her teammate Kim Bouton. Kim Bouton not creating any contact for her teammate, but now she plays the defensive role against Choi Min-jong.
No way for Choi to get through. A slight roar of the crowd, then they realise the gap had closed. Look at those Canadian Ice Maples not letting the White Tiger through at all.
They're passing it back and forth, which is the right thing to do. That helps them keep the pace. Here comes Min-jong.
Now on this final lap, Choi Min-jong having to make a burst. Can she get past the two Canadians? Bouton and Brunel have dictated. Choi stretching. Didn't quite get there. Bouton first. Brunel second. In a photo from Choi, it looked like the Canadians had executed some perfect team tactics to shut out Choi Min-jong.
That was truly, truly tremendous. The way they passed that lead back and forth. And again, I don't think there's any assistance going on here. I think that is actually how fast these two women are. Because in the 500 with Choi Min-jong behind you, you can't settle in. You can't wait. She is coming. You have to push the pace. Florence Brunel holding a beautiful tight track as she stretches for the line. Kim Bouton crossing the line in a 43.09, that's forcing Choi Min-jong to wait for that fastest third time.
The Canadians do it, 1-2. Kim Bouton and Florence Brunel will go through to the semi-finals. Now, yeah, Choi Min-jong with a clock beside her name to see if her time will be quick enough to get her through to the semis.
She does currently have the fastest third time. We're taking two fastest third times. The only way she can get bumped is if there's an advancement in this round.
In this round, we have got Kim Gilly, the Crystal Globe reigning champion, Michelle Velzebor, Ricky Doak from Canada, Corinne Stoddard of the United States, and Chiara Betti, the Italian. First two across the line go through to the semi-finals, and first two to this corner put themselves in a good position. It's Velzebor and the Canadian Ricky Doak with Kim Gilly chasing behind at the moment in third.
Ricky Doak going from third on the line to second position, but she can't stay here. She's got to set up a pass. She's stepping out slightly wide on the corner. She needs to manipulate her track pattern to slingshot up the inside before Kim Gilly comes.
Only skater outside the top 10 who's been on the podium so far this season is Ricky Doak, as she cannot get past though, but Kim Gilly can. The blocks go flying. And it is four abreast. It's really tight. Corinne Stoddard's got in. Doak goes down. It's Kim Gilly rather. And then the Italian comes in, Chiara Betti, to take second place. Kim Gilly. All the action was elsewhere. The Korean made the move, and then the Italian.
And that's exactly what I meant by not being able to stay there in second. Michelle Velzeboer with an incredible time. Ricky Doak did need to move that pass up a little earlier, though, to avoid the conflict. Let's take a look here at the replay. So she's overtaking Kim Gilly off the start, but right there, her speed gets scrubbed. She has to step out wide. That opens the door for Gilly. Michelle, incredible job holding on, and we're 4 wide in the straightaway. Corinne Stoddard doing everything she can to tuck up into qualifying position, but this is where the review will happen. Corinne Stoddard losing some speed, which opens the door then for Betti to unofficially cross the line in second.
How did Velzeboer cling on there? How did she stay upright?
All 4 of them I thought were going down in that corner.
Kim Gilly. It was only that woman, Ricky Doak, who actually did hit the ice. It was an eventful quarterfinal in the women's 500 meters.
Officials in the video review room reviewing every angle. So again, we're 4 wide here. Corinne Stoddard tucks in. It's causing contact and scrubbing speed at the same time. Their arms get tangled. Corinne does seem to get even with the Canadian skater, but we're looking at a possible USA to Canada illegal late pass. Now, because Ricky Doak was in second place there, she's eligible for an advancement. Nothing Ricky can do at this point except for gear down, get ready for the next. Well, if I were her, I'd be getting ready for the next race, whether I'm in it or not, because that's the mindset, right? Is you believe that you can until someone else comes and says, sorry, kid, you're out.
Oh, there's still so much more racing to come in these women's 500s.
So let's look at it again. We are looking potentially for a shared responsibility call now, because Corinne Stoddard gets her shoulders and hips even with Ricky Doak. Potentially Ricky Doak's job was to give way. The officials will tell us their final decision after a few more looks at the video.
Remembering, this is still the quarterfinal round of the 500 meters. Still no rounds to go. Sends into the final. Corinne Stoddard and Ricky Doak just getting the skates off.
A little fun fact here as Ricky takes her skates off. Do you see how her shoulders don't quite reach her kneecap? So from a skating technical perspective, the length of your torso can give you an advantage in how well you can press your chest down to your thighs. So just something interesting you don't always get to see there.
After review, we gave no penalty due to shared responsibility between skater number 5 from USA and skater number 21 from Canada.
So the result will stand, which had Kim Gilly and Chiara Betti going through in the top 2. Ricky Doak went down with and hit the barriers after that contact with Corinne Stoddard, but deemed shared responsibility. So Kim Gilly and Chiara Betti advance through.
We have Jordan Pierre-Gilles back out here on the ice. Oh, and here's the official video review. No penalty for shared responsibility. So those shoulders and hips are even going into this corner. They both get their arms mixed up. They both take that pause going into the corner. So the refs decide, hey, no one's at fault here. Basically, you took each other out, and the results stand.
There it is, confirmation, and Choi Min-jong going in as one of our fastest third skaters through to the semi-finals with Petra Yashapati of Hungary into the semi-finals of the women's 500 metres. It'll be the last of the women's events coming up this afternoon as we now go back to the men's competition in the 1,000 metres. And yeah, we do have Jordan Pierre-Gilles back out on the ice. Thought he might have was hoping to get himself an advancement through to the A final, but we'll have to be satisfied with the B final in this men's event. We've got 5 on the start list, but 3 on the ice. We can only see Jordan Pierre-Gilles, and there is Lorenzo Priviatali. There is the Canadian Ice Maple back out and detain the crowd. And Shogo Miyata. So the 2 skaters missing are the Chinese Long Sun Long and the Korean White Tiger Kim Tae-sung. And I would hazard a guess they might be looking at the men's relay, the last event of the day.
That would be my guess as well.
So just 3 on the start line then for this men's B final in the 1,000 metres. A little bit of bling in the air, bit of razzle-dazzle from Jordan Pierre-Gilles in the middle of this 3.
And so these B finals, they can be kind of fun because there's not a lot of pressure. There are points on the line, but there's no time standard. There's no medals that you have to worry about winning or losing. And so it's really an opportunity for athletes to practice strategies they're not typically comfortable with and to push each other in a way that's fun, not in a way that's like, I gotta beat you, but in a way that's like, I really want to try something new here and do my best.
Let's see if they've got anything new up their sleeves, up their suits. Down their suits, whichever way it goes, as Lorenzo Priviatali will just lead them around these first handful of laps.
Pierre-Gilles giving us a little shake of his shoulders. Priviatali shaking out his fingers and his wrists. All the interesting little ways athletes try to release tension as they skate. Miyata coming up to lead the race.
There's a good view of all the little quirks and ticks. We talked about some of them yesterday. Now we get to see them out on the ice in a B final where there's just the joy, I was going to say the joy of the race, the thrill of the race as Priviatali and Miyagi just got a little bit come together. Jordan Pierre-Gilles trying to find his way around the Japanese ninja. Can't do so. Around Miyata into second though.
Skaters practicing their defensive skating. That's a big part of skating. It's not just can you make the pass, it's can you shut down the pass coming from behind.
They get the bell and it is the Japanese skater Shogo Miyata on the front of this B final. And looks like he's going to comfortably take it as the Italian and the Canadian come together. Just a little, sorry about that. And they both kind of pulled out at the end, didn't they?
Yeah, they did, and we are seeing a yellow dot there, so that pass is going to be reviewed, and you're right, they kind of waved at each other, and it was Priviatali first, who I think he kind of knew, like, hey, man, that wasn't clean, I might have caused that. Pierre-Gilles saying, it's fine.
Almost saying, don't even worry about reviewing it. We'll just...
Good defensive skating there by Miyata. So he doesn't cut across the track, but he keeps his stride wide, forcing the Italian to scrub his speed. Pierre-Gilles sneaking up the inside. You see him pressing on his thigh there. That's a sign that he's tired. He's trying to come across and block the inside lane as Priviatali comes up the inside. Priviatali does not get his shoulders and hips even. So that means the call for the contact may go to him, but we will wait and see. We're looking at a possible call on Italy on Canada not giving way. We will keep you updated as those results continue to be reviewed.
Priviatali and Jordan Pierre-Gilles, I think. As I say, it looked like a friendly smile. For a second, I was like, maybe not so sure. But anyway, let's get the review.
After review, we give a penalty to skater number 105 from Italy.
Yeah, that's Lorenzo Priviatali. He'll get the penalty, concede the penalty in that B final. So it'll be Shogo Miyata who takes the win. Jordan Pierre-Gilles, and of course we had a couple of skaters who did not start. Don't worry, we will see Sun and Kim later today, no doubt, in the 5,000 metre relay, saving themselves for that one.
And so here's the official review. Penalty, end of straight, inline skater, inside skater. Failure to give way. And as mentioned going into this race, they're trying new things. To be honest, it's fun when other skaters push you to do the things you didn't think you can do. Of course, nobody wants to receive a penalty or be on, the skater getting passed. in a penalty type of way. But that being said, racing's fun. Whether it works or not, getting out there, pushing yourself, it's a good time. Hopefully on World Ice Skating Day, you all at home are going out and enjoying the same thing yourself.
Racing is super fun, especially when it comes to finals, and we've got a cracker coming up now, the men's 1,000 metre final with a strong field of skaters who know what it is like to get on the podium. The podium from last week, so strong is this field, the podium from last week in Beijing didn't even make it through to the semi-finals, let alone the final. Park Ji-won, the crowd favourite, the Korean White Tiger, with the number 1 on his helmet as the reigning Crystal Globe leader. He is sitting second overall in the current standings. Jens van Voort, a scar on his cheek, but still in that Dutch lion for sure, with the Dutch fan into it. Jung Sung-woo, the second of the Korean White Tigers in this event. He was second in Montreal too. Here is our Crystal Globe leader, William Danjanu, ready to soar again. Winner of this event in Montreal too. As I say, top of the log, and the winner, of course, in the 1500 yesterday. Roberts Kruisberg's the Latvian gold star who's been on the podium this weekend, third in the 500 metres, having a career weekend so far. Wouldn't he love to make it a double medal?
Coming off of his first ever 500 meter A final yesterday and his first ever 500 meter medal.
1,000 metre final for men. Park Ji-won, Jens van Voort, Jung Sung-woo, William Danjanu, Roberts Kruisbergs. All eyes and expectation on the 5 men in the final. In the men's 1,000 metres, it's the number 1 helmet of Park Ji-won that this crowd wants, but this man, William Danjanu, has led the way throughout the season, and he will lead the way in the opening stages of this race.
The Ice Maples really trusting their fitness here on this World Tour stop. No fear going to the front and leading a fast pace. Robert Kruisberg says, I've got the legs. Let me give it a try.
Yeah, wants to have a say in this final. Does the Latvian gold star. 1,000 metres, 9 laps of this 111 metre rink. And it is Roberts Kruisberg's. Oh, Danjanu just a little shaky on it as he came round in second. He's got Park Ji-won breathing down his neck.
So what Kruisberg is doing here is called a deep track. He stays off the blocks going into the turn, and that opens the door on the inside, which another skater like Danjanu can take advantage of.
Danjanu does take advantage. 4 laps to go as speeds hit in excess of 45 kilometres per hour. Danjanu's got Park Ji-won coming at him. Jens van Voort not out of it yet either. At the moment, though, it is Danjanu from Park.
And now Danjanu is really going to take off, and Park's going to have to close that gap and try to set up a pass, but Jens van Voort's coming up the inside.
He wants to have part of it too. The Dutch Lion into second place. Park can't get past him. Danjanu controlling it on the front. It's William Danjanu again. He took the 1,500. He's on track for the 1,000 again. It is Danjanu from van Voort, and it is Jung who gets up for third. Danjanu flies once more. The Ice Maple supreme.
Incredible skate by William Danjanu, really showing us his dominance in the field. He's the only skater so far this World Tour season to have a gold medal in every single distance.
Second of the weekend, the great rivals come together. It's Danjanu, shut the gate on the Koreans. And again, pats on the back. They're such a connected unit, the Ice Maples. Look at them there. Roussel, Pierre-Gilles Dubois, all there to celebrate with their teammate, William Danjanu.
And to remind everyone at home the joy of this World Skating Day, the best part is sharing it with your family and friends. And it doesn't matter if you're getting out on the ice for the first time or if you're breaking records here on the World Tour.
He's so calm. Even when someone else goes in front, he knows he's got everything in his toolkit to be able to work his way again. And he does it. He makes it look so fluid.
And so that is the late outside to in pass that we often see get called as an illegal end of straight pass. If you don't do it right, it's illegal, but if you do it right, it looks like that. Jens van Twout tucking into second, and here's what's amazing, keeping two white tigers behind him, not letting one on the inside or the outside. Incredible defensive skating by the Dutch Lion.
Second medal of the weekend for Van Twout as well. There's no one better than this man at the moment.
Van Twout also one of the few skaters who does have a gold medal in every distance. That's from last season. You see hugs, arms around the back, showing the camaraderie of the sport, the joy in pushing each other to be your best.
The results of the men's 1,000 metre final. Canada's Ice Maple William Danjanu takes it from Jens van Twout, the Dutch Lion, and the Korean White Tiger Jang Sungwoo in third place.
2024 2호 KB국류 ISU 쇼트트랙 월드 투어 서울 남자 1000m 시상식을 시작하겠습니다.
The award for this event will be presented by referee Mr. Alessandro Baruri.
본 경기의 시상은 레프리인 알렉산드라 마우르께서 해주시겠습니다.
ISU Short Track World Tour Seoul 2024-25 presented by KB Financial Group. In third place and the winner of the bronze medal from Republic of Korea, Korean White Tigers, Chang Sung-woo.
A popular bronze medal, Chang Sung-woo. He was second in this event in Montreal too, being on the podium. That was behind Dungeon. This time he had to settle for third. Just pipped his teammate too. Park Ji-won came home really strong, did Jung. They're going to be formidable in that men's 5,000 metre relay to come later this afternoon. In fact, that is going to be some race. We'll see this man, I'm sure.
In second place and the winner of the silver medal from Netherlands representing Dutch Lions, Jens van Twout.
Jens van Twout, hard to keep him out of it. In the mix, just about every time he competes.
I spoke about the Ice Maples fitness, but the Dutch Lions also incredibly fit. They're actually going, not home, they're going to Spain from here for bike camp for a few days before they take their Christmas break. Yes, please.
I could think of worse places to go, to be fair. The bike bit I could leave away, but I will go to Spain before the Christmas break. Jens van Twout will take second place. And once again, standing aloft, William Danjanu, the Canadian Ice Maple, the leader of the Crystal Globe standings. Nine medals across the season so far from 12 events, individual events that is. William Danjanu wins again the 1,000 metres champion.
This concludes the award ceremony for the men's 1,000 meter.
이상으로 남자 1000m 시상을 마치도록 하겠습니다.
The last of our men's individual finalists. There he is. Look at that surge at the top. That is an enormous lead in the Crystal Globe standings. This is 9 medals out of 12 individual events. It's extraordinary when you look at the quality of skater behind him.
I don't know that he's catchable at this point.
It's a good luck, Park Ji-won and Jens van Twout.
I mean, we're seeing second and third place only a few points behind, fourth and fifth just a few points behind that, and then hundreds of points above the rest. William Danjanu.
Well, he came in with a 238-point advantage over Park Ji-won. Now extending that out with still the relays to come as well. So that means a very short ice break will come before we get back into the women's 500 metres. We've got the semi-finals of that event in about 7 or so minutes time, and then it'll be straight on to the finals of the women's 500. Or even straight now. I don't know where I got 7 minutes from, but anyway, we'll carry on into the semi-finals. I was thinking they needed more of a rest.
I bet they agree with you.
So it is the first of the semi-finals in the women's 500 metres. Kristen Santos Griswold, Choi Min-jong, Kim Gilly, Kiara Betty and Hannah Dismet. First and second place go through. One fastest third to the final. This is a strong field.
Kristen Santos Griswold first on the line. That means that she had the fastest finish in the previous round of these 5 skaters.
See if she can hold her form, having won the 1500 and taking out her quarterfinal in this, the 500. The blue, red, white and blue of the USA Eagle in position 1. Two Koreans in this race, Choi and Kim Gilly, who's taken a stumble. So we will restart.
Skaters will go directly to their coaches, Kiara Betty and Kim Gilly, seemingly the two who've had a bit of contact. And so here's what happens. The first thing the coaches do is check the edge. And if there's it's called a burr, they use a burr stone and they push the burr back onto the edge. Let's take a look here. Yeah, it's right there. Kiara Betty, 2 times in a row, Kiara Betty's point of her blade goes into the outside edge of Kim Gilly. So because of that, yeah, so you see how the tip of the blade is damaged. They're taking inventory here. I don't know what they'll do about it. You can bet Kim Gilly's blade is damaged as well. So the first thing they do is you want to check the edge. But when you've taken 2 hits like that, that probably means that there's something wrong with your bend. Both skaters have something wrong with their bend at this point. Coaches can decide if they want to tighten the bolts and release some tension in the metal, or if they want to take the blade off. They're taking the blade off. They're using their power tools to release the blade from the cup. They'll put in a whole new set of equipment for this 500-meter semifinal race.
Boy, this helps too when you've got some resource in your program, some hands on deck to be able to make that quick change. The rest of the skaters, they went straight for the jackets, the big warm coats. Santos Griswold, see the work being done on the skate of Kim Gilly, the Crystal Globe winner. She looks fairly relaxed about it. Coaching staff, the support crew will nervously watch on.
And what she does well is she steps right out and starts testing her equipment. It's a disadvantage when you finish getting your equipment changed and you have to go immediately to the start line. You want to come test the edge, put your weight on it, practice turning it once or twice, make sure you feel good on your new equipment.
Running repairs for the Italian and the Korean, or one of the Koreans in this field. Kim Gilly out having a check, shaking the leg out. They will restart on the line. Clean start this time in the women's 500-meter semi-final at Santos Griswold. And first of all, the move straight away from Choi Min-jong to go ahead of the USA Eagle. She's sandwiched between the 2 Koreans. Santos Griswold's come back at Choi. Now it's Choi and Kim Gilly chasing the USA Eagle. Dismet behind with the Italian in 5th.
Tremendous tactical move there by Kristen Santos Griswold, and she's taking off. Choi Min-jong now having a problem with her equipment, but the gap is too big. Kristen Santos skating away.
Yeah, Choi Min-jong just out of it completely. Kristen Santos Griswold, it's down to the top 2. So Kim Gilly will look to hold on here as Hannah Dismet comes at her. Kristen Santos Griswold in cruise mode in this 500. Surge for the line. Kim Gilly takes second from Hannah Dismet, but it was all Santos Griswold, the USA Eagle, soaring into the final.
Tremendous skating by Santos Griswold. That early pass up the inside. Again, we've talked about that illegal late pass. If you don't do it right, it's illegal. But if you do it right and it works, it looks like that. Let's take a look at the replay. A clean start. She maintains her lane position. Choi Min-jong getting a little quicker step off the first half lap. Kristen Santos keeping her feet moving, building up to top speed. Now, pretty soon here, we're gonna see the fault in Min Jung's equipment. She's already feeling unstable. She steps out, letting her teammate by. Kim Gilly diving at the line, holding off Hannah Desmet.
Kristen Santos, Griswold and Kim Gilly go through to the final of the women's 500. Not much between Gilly and Desmet. We will take one of the fastest third skaters. So at the moment, Hannah Desmet will have an eagle eye on this second semi-final to see where that keeps her in the running order. No time for Choi Min Jong, unfortunately. And that one, as she went off the ice.
And so sometimes what happens, you hit a patch of dirt on the ice and it can ruin a blade. I'm not sure if that's what's happened to Min Jung, but let's go to the next race.
Kim Bouton, Sandra Velsabor, Florence Brunel, Mariana Fontana, Petra Hisapati. It is a stacked field, this one as well. Every single race has just got the best of the best going at it. This woman in the 500 has been just that, the number one. Kim Bouton in that number one position, coming in with the fastest qualifying time. And as it's close, it's really tight between Velsabor and another of the Canadians. There's contract between Fontana and Velsabor. Fontana's gone down, so now it is the two Ice Maples, Bouton and Brunel, with Velsabor chasing.
Brunel doing an excellent job skating a defensive track pattern. Velsabor is building her speed, staying out wide. Florence doing again that move called keeping her on your hip, not letting her make any progress even though she's building speed.
Remember, Sandra Velsabor has won all three of these 500-metre events so far. At the moment, she's battling to get an automatic place in the final. Top two will progress. It's going to be really tight. Velsabor will get there in the end from Brunel and Bouton.
It was really tight. Kim Bouton getting pinched a little bit, taking the defensive track pattern of trying to stay tight, not allowing any room for Sandra to come up the middle, but then Sandra has room to move up the outside. There's almost nothing you can do in that situation. So the Ice Maples shutting out the Dutch Lion off the start, and the Italian Gladiator, Ariana Fontana, trying to challenge, getting caught up in her own skates and then caught up in her arm swing before finally going down on the second corner. Florence Brunel here moving up the inside. Good pass. Kim Bouton checking over her right shoulder. Where is that Dutch Lion? Velsabor coming around the outside. Kim Bouton getting pinched. She has the speed, but not the space coming around the last turn.
Oh, Velsabor, the face mask getting knocked off, tried to catch it on the way through. She has had to be really gritty, absolutely made to work for this semi-final win. Sandra Velsabor, who has been unbeatable in the 500 this season. Oh, minuscule between them.
Kim Bouton will not go on a fastest third time. That will go to Hannah Desmet from semifinal one. As long as we have an official, unofficially.
We've still got a video review to confirm the exact result. There's a bit of contact between Fontana and Velsabor. It was, and then there was also some between one of the Canadians and Velsabor, Brunel here.
So really assertive skating here by Velsabor. Sandra getting pinched first by the Canadian on the outside, then the Gladiator on the inside.
That presence of mind, though, for Velsabor to stay upright and keep going despite that contact, whichever way it came from.
And we are seeing a possible call on Netherlands for a lane change from outside to in on that move against Ariana. Sandra having to overcome some adversity these last couple of weekends. She's tremendous in the 500 meter, and like we said, this World Tour format is challenging. She's being leaned on heavily by her team, doing a lot of racing, testing the limits of her fitness.
Oh, she's also the target on the back that the other skaters want to beat. Let's find out.
After review, we give a penalty to skater number 3 from the Netherlands.
That is the penalty against Sandra Velsabor. So that magnificent run of victories in the 500 meters will come to an end here in Seoul. Sandra Velsabor penalized out of the semi-final. We'll have a new champion in the 500 for the first time this season.
sure she's not happy with that. But again, so often, what can you do when you're the leading champion in this race? They have this mindset of, hey, this is mine, and if you want it, you got to take it. But sometimes that mindset can get you in trouble. It's not possible to say the right side of the line to be on.
It's not the first time she's been penalised this weekend.
From outside to in, so the officials do decide she's being too aggressive, moving from her lane over into Fontana, causing the contact, causing the fall.
So it means the two Canadians advance from the second semi-final. Kim Bouton and Florence Brunel and Hanne de Smet goes through as our fastest third-place skater. Kristen Santos Griswold, well, she gets the 1500, maybe a little bit of loosening, and maybe the 500 is in her sights now as well. Fastest qualifier for the A final, which is coming up in just over 10 minutes' time. Time for a quick reset of the ice, and we will be back into the B and A finals in the women's 500 metres, not too far away. Short track is explosive, it's unpredictable, high octane, high action. But with all that close proximity and manoeuvring, well, there's a pretty big chance of infringements from time to time. To get a bit more insight onto the rules, here's former Olympic and world champion Natalie Lombier, now chair of the Technical Racing Committee.
Well, I think short track is probably one of the most challenging sports to officiate because it's not like tennis, for example, the ball is in or the ball is out. There's a gray zone where quite often it's two people or sometimes even three people and more doing something at the same time that creates the contact. Arm block is when a skater will use, it doesn't matter which arm, will use the arm to basically prevent a skater from passing. This can happen in the corner, but also in the straight. And so skaters are allowed to use the arm, of course, for the momentum, but not like a swimmer to basically prevent a pass. Arm push is slightly different. It kind of looks the same, but it will be the push, and quite often it results in somebody falling, especially if it's happening in the corner. Contact from behind is when the skaters are skating too close to each other or coming with too much speed and basically tip the blade or the body of the skater in front, and quite often leads to a fall. So you are responsible for your speed and where you are behind the skater, because the skater in front cannot see you or prevent a contact. So that could lead to a penalty if it creates, mostly if it creates a fall. Most of the time you will see penalties. If the infringement is very serious or very dangerous or unsportsmanship behavior, it can be a yellow card. It could also be a red card. Each level has different consequences. So if you get a penalty, you will be basically the last one in the race. You remain with a classification within your race. So if it's in a final, for example, you will be the last one in the final. If it's a yellow card, it brings you down to the bottom of the classification. If it's a red card, it can have further consequences. Red card, we don't see very often. Yellow cards, we do. For dangerous behavior, for unsportsmanship, for last-minute crazy action that basically kills the race, you might see a yellow card. If something happens in the qualifying round, the skater that is on the receiving end of an infringement, if they are in the top 2 position at the moment of the infringement, they should get advanced to the next round. So basically, up until the final, a skater on the receiving end of an infringement can be protected if they are in the lead position. Of course, in a final, the only way a skater could be protected is when there are major crash involving lots of skaters. The referee can actually stop the race and restart that race to prevent the integrity of the race. That happens sometimes. You will see that in short track competition. But unfortunately, if this is not happening, then an advancement is obviously not possible, and the skater is potentially losing a medal.
All right, Catherine, well, how have things changed since back in your day?
Well, it's only been 10 years, but the sport feels completely different. There are calls that are no longer allowed and calls that are actually now encouraged. The most surprising one being shared responsibility, where oftentimes neither skater gets a penalty.
Or neither skater wants to take shared responsibility for it. We've heard a lot about the new national identities, the new team mascots for each of these nations, these athletes representing their countries. Let's find out a little bit more about some of these national mascots.
This year we're the Canadian Ice Maples. To me, it just means that we proudly represent Canada. It means that more than ever we're a team, and that we focus ourselves towards a common goal. I'm always up for a new look. I like to put some steez into it myself, so a new look for the team is just great.
Every competition that I go away, I'm trying to find like a maple leaf, and then I just tape it on my door locker, and just to remember where I'm from. So I feel like for me to having it on my chest and an ice maple, I feel like it's natural for us.
We are now the Irish Wolfhounds. It originates from Ireland, so I mean that's what the connection to Ireland is. I see the Irish Wolfhounds, they're a very loving dog. They take care and pride, and they protect their families, and I guess all of us here, we kind of protect each other and help each other along, and no matter what suit I put on, whether it's the old suit or the new suit, I'm always going to represent Ireland with pride, and now the Irish Wolfhounds with pride as well.
This year we are the German wolf. In Germany there are many wolves in the mountains. The designs are cool. Yeah, we all like it. Wolf is a predator, so we can chase our goals and try to be top of the race. I think that's why we chose wolf.
We are Turkish Anatolian parts. Parts like a tiger. When I see our parts, I feel very special because we put it behind to us, we write a surname. And this is very special for me. For Anatolian parts, I feel very powerful. I feel like a Superman.
We are the Philippine Tamarao. Tamarao is a water buffalo. A water buffalo is not like a typical animal that everyone just knows about. And so I think that makes the Philippines really unique because it is a common or a well-known animal within that country. So it's a really unique mascot to have. I aim to be strong in everything I do, and so just having that strong animal behind me. It's a good metaphor, I guess. In short track, just like a Tamarao, the Philippines isn't a super dominant and renowned country for this sport. And so I'm really proud to be able to be here and represent the Philippines.
Right, it's finals time. The last bit of racing here in Seoul in leg 4 of the Short Track World Tour. Into our final handful of races here on the third and final day of the Short Track World Tour event in Seoul. Stop 4 of 6 on this World Tour, and the race for the Crystal Globe is getting hotter and hotter. We are into the B final of the women's 500, the women's A final to come, and then our last event of the weekend, the B final, and then the A final of the men's 5,000 metre relay. A couple of scintillating races to finish us off over the after what has been a most wonderful weekend of short track. The B final for the women's 500 sees Petri Yazapati, the Hungarian Falcon, 2 of the Italian gladiators, Chiara Betti and Arianna Fontana, who took a spill in her semi-final, and Choi Min-jong, the local hope for Korea, couldn't quite get through to the final. What is notable, though, in both this B and the A final, we will not see the Crystal Globe leader, Sandra Velsibor, who has dominated this event this season, did not make it through to the final. In fact, she was penalised in her semi. So B final, first of all, where there is Korean White Tiger representation in the form of Choi. And she is in the number 90 helmet. Little bump of the fists between the two Italian gladiators on the line. Arianna Fontana and Chiara Betti. Here is firstly, though, Petra Yazapati. Chiara Betti. Big couple of weeks racing for this woman. As we've said, Catherine, racing both long track and short track now in the build-up to these Milan Cortina Winter Olympic Games. And Choi Min-jong ranked 3 in the Crystal Globe overall standings, in the hunt for that trophy. women's B final in the 500 metres. The two Italians looking to sandwich in the Hungarian Falcon, but it is the Falcon Yazapati who goes first, but we won't have to wait long, I'm sure, before Choi Min-jong at the back starts to make a move. And here she goes already, the number 90, up into third from fourth.
Choi Min-jung will make another move, but so will Ariana Fontana, stepping out here to build her speed. She can barely hold it around the turn, but she does defend the pass against Choi Min-jung.
The all-time most Olympic medals is the Ariana Fontana, sitting in second place at the moment in speed skating. Now she goes up into first, the legendary skater, overtaken once more though by the Hungarian. Really good B final, this one, nice and even. It is Petra Yazapati just holding it into that final corner and taking out the B final. That will see her finish 6th overall from Fontana, and Choi Betty in 4th.
Really elite level skating we're seeing here this weekend from all the competitors. Now Ariana Fontana going from third on the line, overtaking her teammate, tucking into second. Choi Min-jung coming up the inside here. I mean, I'm surprised that she's chose to try to pass one by one in this race. Oftentimes she tries to pass the whole field on the outside. She's smart though. She doesn't force a move when it isn't there. She scrubs her speed and saves it for later. Fatigue definitely starting to set into these legs as we finish the last individual ladies distance of the weekend. Yazapati happy with that.
Good finish to the weekend for her confirmation of the B final results then, which does leave us with just one more individual race to go for what has been a wonderful weekend of skating, and that is the women's A final in the 500 metres. It is fast, it is furious, close proximity, contact. You've got to be brave and you've got to be skillful in the 500 metres. Looking at the progression through, and you said time and again, this isn't meant to be Kristen Santos Griswold's race. She comes in really strong form.
Yeah, I was joking yesterday that I gotta stop saying it. She clearly is a 500-meter skater. I don't know if someone ought to tell her that or not, but she is ranked #1 going into this race, first on the line.
Winning the 1,500 metres less than 2 hours ago, Kristen Santos Griswold comes in as the fastest qualifier for this 500-metre final. She'll be tracked by this incredibly impressive 20-year-old Canadian ice maple, Florence Brunel. Made her senior debut as a 17-year-old 3 years ago. The hometown favourite with the #1 on her helmet, Kim Gilly. To the roar of the crowd, the White Tiger takes to the ice. Don't count out the Belgian ice bear, Hane de Smet, has been on the podium today in the 1,500 metres, had the third fastest time to secure her place in the final. And the three-time Olympic medalist here in Korea, in Pyeongchang in 2018, Kim Bouton from the Canadian Ice Maples. We've got two Ice Maples, a USA Eagle, Belgian White Tiger, and a Belgian Ice Bear and a Korean White Tiger. Crowd get their final words in before we silence for the start of this women's 500-metre final. Looking to the Canadian to explode out of the blocks. That is Florence Brunel, who takes the early lead around the first lap, being tracked by Kristen Santos Griswold. Desmet in third, and now Bouton up to fourth. Kim Gilly at the back.
There she goes, Kristen Santos Griswold up the inside, again pulling that gap.
That's exactly what she did in her semi-final, and then she held it the whole rest of the way out. But this is a class field in the final, and they will be tracking the USA Eagle over these final couple of laps. Santos Griswold it is who takes the bell from Brunel. Kim Gilly yet to make a move. It's Santos Griswold on the front. Brunel chasing her. The USA Eagle is going to go back to back in the space of less than 2 hours. A second gold medal for Kristen Santos Griswold.
Hannah Desmet also on the podium for the second time today.
Well, you wait 3 rounds to win a gold, and then they come in a rush for Kristen Santos Griswold.
What a relief for Kristen. It's been a long time coming. She's had a struggle this season. She's strong enough. She's been strong enough. She's just needed everything to line up for her, and today the stars have aligned in her favor. Florence Brunel really quick off the start. Kristen using her foot speed to build up to top speed and then setting up this pass up the inside. Florence Brunel gives way and immediately starts stepping, checking behind her shoulder. Excellent defensive skating. But then Kristen Santos Griswold takes off and pulls a gap. She holds it all the way to the finish. I think she's happy with it.
Kim Gilly just couldn't find a way into this race. It was dominated at the front by Santos Griswold and Brunel. And Kim Gilly is just doing a lap around the track to thank the fans here in the Mokdong Arena. She's had to settle behind Santos Griswold, Brunel and Desmet into third. An outstanding weekend of racing by these phenomenal women.
And you can bet everyone's breathing a little deeper now, having this final individual race under their belt. Now it's just the relays that are left.
Time to pop on the jacket and prepare for the podium once more. What a couple of hours it's been for that woman. She's been on the podium this season, but not on the top. Now she's going to do it twice here in Seoul.
ICU Short Track World Tour Seoul 2024-25, presented by KB Financial Group. In third place and the winner of the bronze medal from Belgium, representing Belgium Ice Bears, Hannah Desmet.
Hannah Desmet, great day for the Belgian Ice Bear and her supporters in the crowd too. Silver in the 1500, and now bronze in the 500.
And it really is saying something to be able to medal in both the endurance distance and the sprint distance. These are some all-around tremendous athletes we're seeing here this weekend.
In second place, and the winner of the silver medal from Canada, representing Canadian Ice Maple, Florence Brunel.
What a talent. What a talent she is. Absolutely pushed Santos Griswold right to the end to Florence Brunel. First individual medal of the weekend for her. Came in sitting in 8th overall in the Crystal Globe standings. They've had relay success. The Canadians, of course, with gold in the women's, bronze in the mixed relay.
Her husband Travis here this weekend cheering her on in Seoul, right on time to see an impressive weekend by Kristen Santos Griswold.
Nothing like doing in front of friends and family. It's almost like that lightness now about her with a couple of gold medals.
Once again, Kristen Santos Griswold.
Makes it going in a very happy Christmas. Makes the flight home a little easier too.
Team USA still going into their trials in the beginning of January, so some extra confidence for her as we prepare for part 2 of the 24-25 season.
the podium in the women's 500 metres. It is Hannah Desmet from Belgium taking a bronze. Florence Brunel, Canada, the silver medal, and Kristen Santos Griswold, gold in the 500.
We'll start the men's 5,000 meter relay final B.
잠시 후 남자 5,000m 파이널
Here
경기가
in the Crystal Globe standings, wow. Look at that move from Kristen Santos Griswold. She started this weekend in 5th place and now rolls over the top of Zandra Velsabor. 10 points in it, with Kim Gilly not all that far behind either. What a way that is set up heading into the new year and the events in Tilburg, the Netherlands, and Milan, Italy.
An exciting result for Kristen Santos Griswold. It's not always great to have that target on your back sitting in number 1, but what a great validation for her to go from struggling throughout her first couple of World Tour stops to really dominating day 3 of this competition.
She's been on the podium, right, and it's that accumulation that even though she hasn't had some of the big results she's wanted, she's accumulated, she's been there or thereabouts, and it's made a big difference when she's now come to the fore and won those races right when it matters.
And Kristen is the only woman to have won a gold medal in every distance since 2020. Other skaters have done it, but it's been prior to the 2020 season. She's the only one to have done it in the last 4 years.
2020, a bit of a line in the sand in so many ways for so many people. Santos Griswold, she'll now just be able to sit and watch on her American teammates as we get ready for the B final in the men's 5,000 metre relay. It is the United States, the Eagles of the United States, the Kazakhstan Nomads as well. The Dutch Lions and the Canadian Ice Maples. Almost a surprising lineup in this B final to see the Ice Maples here, but it is really, really tight between these men's relay teams. B final of the men's 5,000 metre relay. USA, Kazakhstan, Canada and the Netherlands, all important points in the race for the Crystal Globe, particularly for the Canadians who are trying to hold that spot at the top, which is where Danjanu sits at the moment. He will tag off for Stephen Dubois, the first transfer of this relay. For the United States, it's Andrew Heo out on the track. Jens van 't Veld for the Dutch Lions. He transfers off to Connect. And the Kazakh Nomads as well. Got some good team success.
Shinky Connect, one of the few remaining 80s birth years in the sport.
We love an 80s kid.
Well, I do particularly. But just a few skaters here left from the 80s. Lee Jung-soo, Ariana Fontana, and Shinky Connect. He's sticking around to contribute to his team's success in the relay.
Turnboer out near there for the Dutch Lions. Now for helmet number 56 is Clayton DiClemente, the USA Eagles, and then the Kazakh Nomads, they make a transfer off as well, and that is to Adil Galikitmatov, trailing at the moment the Canadian Ice Maples. As we'll see everything start to build and the intensity will ratchet up a notch at this final. 5,000 metres. If you're the skaters on the inside the track, you're still working, you're still regathering your breath and then getting ready to go again, which is what Roussel is doing now for Canada.
So there are 4 working parts to the relay. We have the active skater that is currently on the ice. We have the building skaters that are building up to top speed, getting ready to receive the push here. Now, the active skater just became the resting skater. They get to put their hands on their knees for just a moment before they go back to the inside and build up for their next exchange. every skater is covering every skater at all times. If there's a fall, the teammate closest reaches out for the hand tag, and then they go back to the traditional exchange until they get back on the routine with the rest of the group.
Well, that's it. You might be having a rest with your hands on your knees, but you've got to keep alive and keep active and just be aware of what is happening with your team at the moment. It is still the Canadian Ice Maples on the front of this pack.
Pass up the inside by the Dutch Lions off of the exchange. That's indicative of good timing. So you want the sum to be greater than the parts in the relay, and you can't necessarily win a relay off the exchanges, but you can lose a relay off the exchanges. Danjanu sneaking up the inside.
Canada actually made a late change to their relay lineup. No Jordan Pierre-Gilles out there. He's had a heavy workload in the last couple of hours. It's Philippe Bourdillon who's racing for them at the moment. It is Dubois on the ice. Still a little jockeying for position. The laps starting to tick down in this B final as well as Tinky Connect goes out for the Dutch Lions. The Kazakh Nomads still just tracking along with Vashbayev and of course the USA Eagles in there as well.
Felix Roussel peeking over his shoulder. The Dutch Lions setting up a pass. Don Koss playing with his track pattern, trying to see when is there room to make a pass.
No room in there just yet for Turnboy from the Dutch wall. The Kazakhs, though, they've a little sneaky move. Really well done from Denis Nikisha to move up into second, squeezed himself between the Canadian and the Dutch. So it's now Canada, Kazakhstan, the Netherlands, and the USA. Dubois on the front for Canada, transferring off to that new man.
Tricky Connect building on the outside.
USA trying to calm round in front of Connect. That is Brandon Kim. It was bold, and he got in front of the Dutchman, but now the big push comes, and the Dutch will regain third spot. It's still Roussel for Canada on the front, with Glebevchenko, the Kazakh Nomad, just behind him.
And that's why we say that the first rule in short track is to defend. As soon as you step out to try to make your pass, you leave the door open for anyone behind you to set up a pass of their own.
Oh, three of them in a very tight group there. It's funny, isn't it? Because for all intents and purposes, it looks such an attacking sport, but defense, the key is the USA try and make a little move inside with Andrew Hio. It's still Dubois for Canada and Kazakhstan second.
Impeccable timing between De Clemente and Hio, and then a little lost speed here from Hio to Brandon Kim.
Allows the Dutch to get back. It is still Canada dictating on the front of this pack in the B final. 11 laps to go.
A scuffle here, but the Kazakh Nomads get by the Dutch Lions. Donkas looking over his shoulder, defending before setting up the pass. Marcus Howard sticking on his tail.
We've seen a lot of movement between 2, 3, and 4, but none of them have really been able to get in front of the Canadians. And look now at Danjanu. They see he's just going to ratchet up the pressure on the other teams, really put the foot down and try and extend this advantage for the Canadian Ice Maples.
The Ice Maples certainly have a fifth year out here on the ice.
Yeah, and Stephen Dubois has dropped down into fifth, because they are flying now. The Dutch are up to third, Kazakhstan second, the Dutch up to second, Kazakhstan third, and the USA trailing in fourth position with just 6 laps to go.
Dutch Lions closing the gap on the Ice Maples. Ice Maples having a very late exchange there, which assists the Dutch Lions in closing that gap. Felix Roussel trying to take off away from Don Koss.
Yeah, really good turn from the Dutch Lions as again, it's Donjanu. Just see that big swing of the arm to try and get that speed and that acceleration away to try and power away from the Dutch. There's a big splinter in this field between all four, but now it's closed again as Dubois, and finally the Dutch do get in front, and Dubois has gone down.
No tag. Oh, William Donjanu misses the tag on Dubois. Dubois to stand up and finish on his own.
It was Jens van 't Veld who made the move, got the really good exchange for the Dutch. Well, frenetic finish.
Yeah, so there will be a video review there. Really nice timing on the exchange from Team Netherlands. We'll have to go back to the race review to see exactly how that fall happened. But here's the thing. Technically, you can't exchange after 2 to go, but you can exchange after a fall. So Stephen Dubois being left on the ice, having to get up and skate those last 2 laps with no teammates coming to his aid was a bit of a surprise.
Yeah, not sure if Danjanu just couldn't get to him, didn't realize that he was the nearest option for Dubois.
So we see the Dutch Lion, Jens van Twout, working to close this gap. It looks like Dubois almost running into the... It's probably a defensive move by the Dutch Lion. Hard to tell from that angle. We're looking at a possible call from Netherlands to Canada. A lane change from inside to out. We'll have to wait for the final call. That's just a possibility at this point. Big push to Jens up the inside. Again, we can't tell from this angle if Jens stepped out and caused the Canadian contact or if the Canadian tried to lean in, but what we are seeing is a possible call on Netherlands for the inside to out move.
These men leave the track for the last time here in Seoul. It's been a good weekend for that man, regardless of the result of this B final. In fact, they didn't even get through to the A final, the Canadians. A big couple of weeks, a huge shift for all of them.
I think the Canadians actually having a fall in their semifinal yesterday, so that's twice, and I think it was even Stephen Dubois both times. So just a little off for these skaters, and we are at the end of a long 2-week journey. Let's go down to the ice.
After review, we gave a penalty to Team Netherlands.
It is the Dutch who are penalised, so that result for them will not stand, and that means Kazakhstan take the B final with the United States second and Canada in third. Netherlands are penalised from the race.
Let's see the official video review. So in the corner, lane change from inside to out. So the Dutch Lion comes up the inside, steps out wide. He's doing what's called a deep track. You can see he is significantly far off the blocks. That's more than just a defensive move. That's a penalty.
It brings us to the 201st and final race of 3 days of wonderful short track World Tour action here at the Mokdong Arena in Seoul. Round 4 of 6, and we will have one more relay to go. The men's A final in the 5,000 meter relay, and it will be loud as the home team, the Korea White Tigers, will take on Italy's Gladiators, the Chinese Longs, and Japan's Ninjas. Park Ji-won, Jang Sung-woo, Kim Tae-sung, and Park Jung-hook, the Korean White Tigers. The Italians ready to play a merry tune on this ice. It is Pietro Segal, Thomas Nadolini, Mattia Antonioli, and Lorenzo Privitali. Winners of this event just a week ago on home ice, looking to go back-to-back, the Chinese Luongs, Liu Xiaoang, Sun Long, Li Wenlong, and Liu Xiaolin. And Japan's ninjas are ready to fire. Kosei Hayashi, Shogo Miyata, Dan Iwasa, Keita Watanabe, the only team out of these four, the Japanese ninjas, who haven't been on the podium in this event across the course of the season so far. The men's final of the 5,000 meter relay, the Korea White Tigers, Italy Gladiators, China Longs, and Japan Ninjas. Kim for Korea, Natalini for Italy, Sun for China, and Watanabe for Japan get us underway in the final event of the Short Track World Tour in Seoul, the men's 5,000 meter relay final.
We are 44 laps away from the end of this event, but the pressure is on for the White Tigers here on their home ice in front of their home crowd.
44 laps and a long way from home for these men out on the ice at the end of a very long weekend. And then particularly in front of this expectant Mukdong Arena crowd. It is their champion Park Ji-won who will transfer over to Jang Sun-woo on the podium in the 1,000 metres not that long ago.
Skaters on each team having an uncanny ability just to make eye contact with their teammates, and that's often enough to know what the teammates want to do. And that's how you know when a team is really working together. Are they constantly looking for one another, or are they trying to compete in four separate parts?
Yu Shalin, he hands off to that first man again. Sun Long for China, the 22 on the side of his helmet. He's still Korea White Tigers, who leading from the Chinese Longs, the Italian Gladiators in third, and the Japanese Ninjas yet to make a move as Shogo Miyata is on the ice for them.
Every one of these Japanese ninjas skating to impress this weekend, and as they're sitting in the back, you can bet that they're eyeing up the competitors, trying to decide at which point are we going to set up our big move, who's going to take it.
All four skaters in rhythm at the moment, all four on each team and all four on the ice, the active skaters. And at the moment, China sitting in behind, let it make a move.
You see a little bit of accordion action in the pack, specifically between the Italian Gladiators and the Chinese Longs. Now, that accordion effect can sometimes be exhausting to open and close the gap, but it can sometimes be the exact strategy you need to lead an acceleration into a pass or to create space for defensive skating.
Xiao Yang on the ice now for China, still sitting in behind Park Ji-won as the Italian Gladiator Pietro Segal hands off to his teammate. Japan still tucked in the back and forth. There with Kosei Hayashi at the moment, the Japanese Ninjas. He makes the exchange, the transfer, the tag, all in time for all four teams at the moment. For China, it is the brother, Yu Shalin. No one ready to make a decisive play yet. 27 laps still to go as we tick towards the 3-minute mark in this men's 5,000 meter relay.
Here's the thing though, if you wait too long to make that big move, the race isn't going to get any slower. And I would already say we're past the point where the move would be easy. Skaters have waited so long that now if they're going to move, it's going to have to be a big power move, and there's more risk that comes with that.
Someone's going to have to grit their teeth to show that tenacity to get in front to make a move now. Is this the first little move starting to come? They tried to set up for it. Still no way past the Korean Tigers with Jang.
And the Gladiators have,
the Gladiators have pushed each other off their skates. We'll see if there's a review. Went absolutely flying.
And they've missed the tag. They have to come circle back around. This is going to be an inefficient catch-up by the Italian Gladiators as they're getting Lapped.
Yeah, it's Antonioli who's trying to get back on. It's the skater who went down. Peak confirmation is really sore, so they are down to 3 races as well as down laps. It's under video review. So the Italians at the moment out of it for now. It was Previatali, the man who went down really heavily on the front of the race, though. It is still the Korean Tigers being chased by the Chinese Longs with the Japanese ninjas behind them.
Gladiators struggling to get back in their rhythm because they've lost one. Previtali having to sit out at this point. The rule is that every skater has to complete 1 lap. If there's an equipment problem or an injury problem, the skater can sit out. But it looks like he's going to build back up and try.
What a tough nut. He's trying to get his way back into it. Landed right on the tailbone. The speed is on in the front of the race now, though, as it really comes between the Chinese Longs chasing down the Korea White Tigers. The Japanese Ninjas not out of it either. It is still with Korea, the home team, trying to win gold in the final event here in Seoul. Kim Tae-sung switches off to Park Ji-won. It is still China absolutely chasing on their tail. Liu Xiaoyang is out there for the Longs. The Japanese skater is Shogo Miyata. Italy still down a lap, but still trying to chase on and get in here. Here goes the move from China. The move finally comes from the Chinese skaters. It's Li Wenlong who takes the lead. Now it's Korea who has to chase over the final laps.
The White Tigers responding, trying to catch up. The Japanese Ninja holding on.
China leading, now it's the Tigers trying to make another move. Can't get past Liu. Oh, the Koreans have gone down. The home team is out of it. It's all China. Now Japan trying to force their way back onto it as China streaks away with Sun Long.
The Koreans having good coverage, so they're not getting lapped by the lead skater. The Japanese Ninjas now in second.
It is an absolute battle now. 7 laps to go, 2 reviews on the board, but at the moment it is the Chinese Longs looking to double up. They won it in Beijing and on track to win it here in Korea. Japan chasing valiantly as the speed of Shaolin as he goes around to try and pass off again. He does so.
Japan keeping pace with the Chinese Longs, and then what they're really doing is trying to keep Korea from closing that gap. They want to keep their silver medal.
Japan still forcing China switch again. Sun Long over the final couple of laps. Korea White Tigers being roared on, trying to chase. Look at Japan looking to close that gap. They just cannot quite get there at the moment as Xiaoyang takes it on for China. Liu Xiaoyang will take the bell for China. Look at the effort coming from the Japanese behind. An absolute drag race in this frenetic frenzy of a final. It's gold for China once more in the men's relay.
Tremendous finish by Xiaoyang of China, finding that camera, looking right at us. He knows he's done incredible work, and he's happy with it.
Strongman stuff from the Chinese. They have put on a show. What a valiant effort at the end from Shogo Miyata and the Japanese, and some bravery too. Man, there were some tumbles in that race, but it is China who take it.
I think that's 2 weekends in a row for the Chinese Longs, 5,000 meter World Tour gold.
Strength and depth in their team, and yeah, pointing up to some of the fans and maybe silencing some of the locals as well. The Chinese Longs, too good in Seoul.
So there's the exchange where Italy goes down, and that's same thing happening twice. So here's what happens is if the skater pushing gets back on their heels, they can accidentally transfer that energy down on the relay exchange, and that energy down knocks the skater down when you want your relay exchange energy pressing forward.
Oh, it's a brutal fall for Lorenzo Previtali, and then another would come, almost exactly the same.
And again, it's a rare fall, but it happens 2 times in one race. Now, the first time the pushing Italian skater getting a little on his heels, but this time the receiving Korean skater getting back on his heels.
Boy, oh boy, and then the collateral damage of trying to keep everyone clear and safe as so many skaters whiz around this track. These guys don't care though. Yeah, pump of the fist. The show is on from Liu Xiaoyang and the Chinese Longs in the relay again. Absolute joy and delight, and well deserved.
As we keep saying, it's all about sharing it with family and friends, the joy of the skaters achieving their goal, but also sharing with the coaching staff who's there with them every step of the way.
Well, the reviews have been cleared by the look of things, so the result will stand as it is. They were two pretty heavy falls. I thought I saw the all clear signal, but perhaps not yet. I'm just going to have one more check to make sure some of the contact. Oh, unfortunate. Privatali. I think it was Kim who went down for Korea.
The calls being reviewed right now are looking like Korea strong push from their own teammate, Italy fall due to strong push from their own teammate. These calls have been cleared. We're just waiting for the confirmation on the ice, and there is the official finish.
See it on the screen, the Chinese team allow themselves the applause. Confirmation then, our men's 5,000 metre relay winner is China from Japan, who, what an effort they put in to try and close that gap. Two tough balls for the Republic of Korea and Italy to take third and fourth.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will now begin the men's 5,000 meter relay award ceremony for the ISU Short Track World Tour Seoul 2024-25, presented by KB Financial Group.
지금부터 2024-25 KB금융 ISU 쇼트트랙 월드 투어 서울 남자 5,000m 계주 시상식을 시작하겠습니다.
The awards for this event will be presented by referee Mr. Alexander Murray and assistant referee Ms. Haewon Park.
본경기의 시상은 레프리 알렉산더 마우루와 어시스턴트 레프리 박혜원 선생님께서 해주시겠습니다.
ISU Short Track World Tour Seoul 2024-25, presented by KB Financial Group. In third place is the winner of the bronze medal from Republic of Korea, representing Korea White Tigers.
By the Korean White Tigers, they'll be disappointed with how this relay ended, but still on the podium. They were so in that mix. It was set for a magnificent final few laps before that nasty tumble. But still on the podium again in this event for the third time this season. The silver medalists last week, silver medalist Montreal, bet your bottom dollar they will be coming for this men's relay when we get to Tilburg in February.
And they really did do a tremendous job covering from the fall. Very often a fall in the relay can send you 1, 2, 3 laps behind the leaders, and they barely fell back by 10, 20 meters. And they were working hard to close the gap, putting on a show for this home crowd, finishing with as strong as an effort as they could have, even if they had had no fall in the first place.
A couple of individual medals for some of the skaters on this team, Jang and Park on the podium earlier, and then finishing off with the team, and regardless, they will be adored. This Korea White Tigers team will regroup and get ready for the skating in the new year. The 2 World Tour events and, of course, the Asian Games. Well, what an effort these men put in. The Japanese, they absolutely battled. China didn't just get that easy finish in the end. They could feel these Japanese ninjas coming at them.
The Japanese ninjas making their first A final of this season, culminating in a silver medal.
Kosei Hayashi, Shogo Miyata, Danny Wasa, Keita Watanabe. Just been in the mixer all weekend, haven't they? All 4 of them. We've said their names over and over in every event.
And it's something we see when the skaters are developing, is that first you start to show up in quarters, and then semis, and then finals, and then you make the podium, and before you know it, you're unstoppable. These Japanese ninjas are on their way.
Back-to-back medals for the popular Chinese longs in the men's relay. They put on a show. They absolutely bring it when it counts. And they have done that 2 weeks in a row in this 5,000 metres. a strong all-around team. The brothers in the centre of it. Sun Long as well, he's had a great weekend. He'd be disappointed not to come away with an individual medal in the end, but another skater who was right in the thick of everything across the course of the weekend. The Chinese Longs win it in the men's 5,000 metre relay to round out the competition here.
Ladies and gentlemen, the medalists.
The top three in the men's 5,000 metres, the Republic of Korea, the White Tigers in bronze medal position, Japan's Ninjas in second, and taking out the gold medal, China, the Longs, winners again.
This concludes the award ceremony.
Hugely popular wherever they go. Chinese relay team, in particular the two brothers, but they've got a really good team around them as well. And I think a few members of the crowd might be hoping again that some of those mascots go their way, as we have seen. As we have a look now at the men's relay and the tour standings, and that is China, who have dominated in this event. Canada couldn't get through to the A final this time around. The Ice Maples, the Republic of Korea, third in the men's 5,000 metre relay overall standings. They've been really consistent, the Korean men, on the podium across the board throughout this event.
Ricky, you say the fans hoping to be thrown those little stuffed animals. I think swooning is the more appropriate word.
I think that is quite possibly true as well. As I said, they popular, the new brothers in particular, but certainly the Korean White Tigers. As we have a look now at the team standings in the Crystal Globe, it is still the Ice Maples of Canada have got a bit of a buffer over the Republic of Korea, the White Tigers, the Dutch Lions, the Netherlands sitting in third place, China's Longs, and then the Italian Gladiators rounding out the top five in the in the Crystal Globe team standings with 2 rounds to go in the new year. So as the skaters take their leave of the ice, that does wrap up the action, and we are so well set up for the final 2 rounds, which will come in February in Tilburg in the Netherlands and in Milan in Italy for round 6 of the Crystal Globe. Catherine Reuter-Adamek, your assessment of this weekend?
Oh, so much to be proud of. And so here's the thing, you don't have to cross the line first to win the race. So many incredible efforts here by skaters from every country, sharing their love of the sport with us on World Ice Skating Day.
World Ice Skating Day indeed. It has been a whale of a time here in Seoul. We wish you a very happy festive season, however, wherever you choose to celebrate that. And we'll see you in the new year as the World Tour continues.